In a world where the news feels bigger, louder, and harder to make sense of, Canadians need more than headlines. Hi, I'm Karen Ciolin, news reporter and host of the Big Story podcast. From world-shaping events to the everyday stories that spark debate, my team and I will explain what matters and why it matters to you. We're here to help you make sense of the news and give you the context you need for those kitchen table conversations. Trusted, Canadian-focused, curious. Listen to The Big Story wherever you get your podcasts.
I've paid my dues.
The long shot tip, they score!
After time,
backhand scores!
done my sentence, but committed no crime.
Woolley scores!
And bad mistakes, I've made a few.
O'Reilly! Oh, really?
Myself and kicked in my face, but I've come through.
An exclamation point as the Rangers bench celebrates.
We are the champions, my friends.
Pridham scores!
And we'll keep on fighting till the end.
10 consecutive wins.
We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world.
From Bellows to Roy and now to Reed, the Kitchener Rangers are 2026 Memorial Cup champions.
Taken my bows and my curtain call.
The job is done, JP. The job is done.
Fame and fortune and everything that goes.
I don't know about you,
Thank you all.
but I cannot, I will not, I refuse to get tired of that. We are indeed the champions. There is no team in the Canadian Hockey League better than our Kitchener Rangers, the 2026 Memorial Cup champions, crowned on Sunday night in Kelowna. And very quickly making their way home. I don't think I've slept, maybe a little bit. I don't know. And it's not because of the party. It's just because of the big rush that was to get the HE double hockey sticks out of Kelowna and back here to the beautiful city of Kitchener. Oh, my word, have I missed you, Kitchener. I've missed my studio. I've missed my computer. I've missed Jen Tan, who's on the other side of the glass as our board operator today. I've missed it all, especially you. Please make sure you are joining us for the big celebration in downtown Kitchener later today, okay? We will celebrate this Kitchener Rangers team and their third Memorial Cup title in style. There's going to be a big old parade, and everybody loves a parade. And you can join that parade. King and Queen, as it passes you by, you join the procession. Come on down to Kitchener City Hall. We'll have a few people talking. We'll have some music. Moose Winooski's is bringing thousands, and I do mean thousands, of hot dogs. So let's make sure we eat all of them and celebrate this team. I said this to my beloved last night, who, no offense, but I missed more than anyone else. My goodness, 11 days away. We've never spent that much time apart. I said to her last night that, because I still get these emotions coming to me in waves with everything that's gone on the past couple of weeks. And I find myself just having a wave of emotion wash over me, and I get a little choked up. And what I said to my beloved was that the championship means so much because of all the work that goes into it. That's my take on this. We go to the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium and we cheer on this hockey team 34 times per season, 44 if you count the playoffs, 44 times. And you cheer this team on, they come out onto the ice, they perform their best, and then they leave the ice, and then they keep working to get ready for the next time to come back onto the ice. And then they work really hard, and then they leave the ice, and they work hard again to get ready to come back on the next time and the next time. And seeing more of those things off the ice to get ready for the next time the team was on the ice. And this extends right through the entire organization. I think that's what's got me feeling the most of the feels today. All of the hard work was rewarded. And that's not to say previous teams haven't worked hard. Sometimes you need the right combination of luck and hard work. But my goodness, it just makes me feel good to see hard work rewarded like that. So proud of this team, top to bottom. And again, more on that during the show today. More on that when we celebrate this team in downtown Kitchener. Make sure you join us later today. But I had a feeling you'd be anxious to talk as we start the show. You know, the minute that we begin, our phone lines are open at 519-570-2545, star 570, and 1-800-570-5715. So let's get right to the phones. Nathan is with us. Good morning, Nathan.
Who's better than the Kitchener Rangers?
I love it. I love the enthusiasm. You're going to be in downtown Kitchener later, right?
Let's go, yep.
And the answer to your question, by the way, is nobody.
Have a good one, Mike.
Thanks, Nate. Good to hear from you, buddy. Nobody is better than the Kitchener Rangers. Nobody. No team can say they are better than the Kitchener Rangers this season. Done and done. Doug, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Welcome home.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I'm still not used to the time change. What the heck time is it anyway? And why are there no mountains out there? Yeah.
So, how many times between Sunday night and today have you pinched yourself?
Yeah, it really is, Doug. I think I've overused the word surreal, but that's how it feels. It's just utterly surreal.
23 years in the making, I think it's fair to say surreal, because it was really something to unfold, to watch. But, you know, and one thing that's really good, a little under my skin on Sunday night was one of the analysts from TSN who said that without Sam O'Reilly, this team doesn't win. I don't think that's now. It would have been a lot harder without Sam O'Reilly, but I don't think it would have been impossible because you talked about the hard work.
Well, and then we lost Doug. Where did he go? Doug, where'd you go? There was hard work. It is a team game. I won't dispute the impact, and I think that's what the analyst was alluding to, of a player like Sam O'Reilly. Here's the thing, and the number of folks that I have heard from who were a little bit disenchanted with the coverage from the national broadcaster. You know, the homers are always on the radio, and a lot of you consumed the games that way with the TV on and the volume on the TV down and the radio up. And we really appreciate you for that. I get it. All season long, you are getting regional/local coverage of the team. So it is definitely slanted in your favor, the perspective of the Kitchener Rangers. So I can understand how it might rub you the wrong way when you're getting the national coverage and their analysis of things. Our good friend Brian Allison, This Week in Music History. My gosh, what's been happening in music since I last talked to you, Brian?
Oh, who cares? This is way bigger. Nobody's interested in that, bro.
I love it. I love it.
It's just been such a pleasure to hear the games, and I'm a homer. I'll admit it. I've listened to all the games on the radio. You and Josh did a fabulous job, and it's just, I loved your point that you just feel so invested, and it's not just an investment of time, but it's pride. You know, we feel so much pride for this team. If they'd have gone to British Columbia and gone over, I still would have been proud of this team because they made it to the Memorial Cup and they, put their best foot forward and did a fantastic job this year. But just to have those wins and to come out with the cup at the end of it, wow, what a rush! I mean, it's just such an incredible feeling for our community, and it was great to have you, of course, there for the ride and representing us all and bringing the news home to us. Amazing.
It was a real treat for us as well. Really appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to talking to you next Monday for our weekly This Week in Music History chat, my friend.
I will be ready.
Thanks, Brian. Talk to you then.
Enjoy.
Cheers, mate. I love the point. And by the way, in case you were unaware, yes, musicologist Brian Allison, every Monday morning, 11 a.m. This Week in Music History. We have lots of fun with it. A great point on the pride that we all feel. There were a couple of dozen folks that had gathered at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium when we arrived home in the wee hours of yesterday morning. That's how much passion there is for this team. And of course, we would have been still proud because winning the OHL championship, which the Kitchener Rangers did, is a big, hairy deal. It really is. So absolutely something to be proud of. But when you get there, you want to win there too, right? And even going into that final game on Sunday, I do believe I overheard, and I hope I'm not telling tales out of school, but I do believe I overheard Rangers general manager Mike McKenzie say after the fact when we were chatting, or I was near him chatting, and he had said something along the lines of, I was so nervous today I wanted to vomit. That's how much it meant. Like, you go through that round robin, win every game, but you still have to win the last one, right? There's no double knockout. If you lose, it's over. And that's how much anxious anticipation there was before Sunday night's big finale. By the way, the chief operating officer of your Kitchener Rangers, Joe Birch, is going to join us in under an hour, just after the 10 a.m. news today. We'll talk about building that championship team. Chris is with us this morning as well. Good morning, Chris.
We are the champions.
We are the champions. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I loved when I would listen to the opening ceremonies, and during those opening ceremonies, every single game, you always hear, "Go Rangers!" above everything else. And my kids were like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I heard that." Like, and the connectivity that the Rangers have brought to this city is absolutely awesome. I love it. You did a great job, Farwell. You should be very proud of yourself, too.
Chris, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. I can only do the job that the team allows me to do. They put on the performance. We just describe it for you. And I'm pretty sure that Let's Go Rangers that you hear during opening ceremonies just as the anthem is ending, I think you have to thank for that none other than Gordon Bilecki, father of Alexander Bilecki, the Rangers defenseman. Gord has got himself a voice, and he will let it rip and let it be known that the Rangers are the team that is being cheered for in the crowd. I'm pretty sure the voice you heard was that of Gordon Bilecki. By the way, we had plenty of coverage online from Kelowna as well. If you have not visited yet, you can still find, of course, all of the stories that happened around the tournament itself on our website, kitchener.citynews.ca. And one of those stories from this past weekend was a story with the parents, several of the parents of the players, and getting their perspective on watching their kids compete for the National Junior Hockey Trophy. Really enjoyed the conversations, and if you haven't read those stories yet, you can read them at kitchener.citynews.ca. Our good friend Robbie is with us. Robbie is a longtime Rangers fan and caller to Rangers Talk. You, sir, must be on cloud 9 today.
Baby!
Ain't nobody better, Robbie. Ain't nobody better.
Man, if you'd have seen I couldn't see it because I was looking in the mirror, but if you'd have seen the poop-eating grin I just had waiting for you to introduce me. Oh, my God. We knew they were going to do it.
Yes,
we knew they were going to do it.
Yes, we did.
All season. Me and you have had a lot of conversations. Well, a lot of conversations you've listened to a lot because I kind of rattle on and then bugger off. But, yeah. Amazing. The Pride, I was there at the Ord the other night. We had an amazing time. I think there's probably about 2,500 people. And sorry if you can hear a noise. I'm trying to use a map at the same time. Long story short, as usual, I'm 58 years old. In my entire years of being alive, I've only ever seen one team I support win something meaningful, and that was in 1980 when we won. I'm a Nottingham Forest fan, my football team, sorry. I saw him win the European Cup for the second time in a row back in 1980, and obviously being an England football fan and Toronto Maple Leaf fan, since then I've seen my teams win absolutely bloody nothing. I suppose I can throw the Raptors in there for a championship, being sort of a Toronto fan, but I can't even imagine what so much fun you guys had. Great to see everybody tonight. Hopefully down in the square. The boys deserve it. They deserve all the accolades. Amazing. Just across the board, amazing. Depth. That is the word for this season for us, buddy. Depth. And it showed and it paid off. And the boys brought the cup home. And I hope to shake your hand tonight. You take care and have a great day. Go Rangers!
Thank you, Robbie. Appreciate it. I hope you take Robbie's advice. Let's celebrate these young men and all of their hard work on our city's behalf, because they wear the name of the city on their sweaters as well, the Kitchener Rangers. And they represent the entire region. Cambridge, you're welcome to join us too. Wellesley, come on to downtown Kitchener this evening. But it's going to be a great party and parade, and we can celebrate in style the third Memorial Cup in Kitchener Rangers franchise history. George in Cambridge, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Just three very quick things. First of all, it was great to see you back in the seat in Salmon Arm. You seemed so happy to be there, and what a great photo of that. That was wonderful.
Thank you, George. It was fun for me to go back to the place it kind of all started. I did a part-time job in Brantford before Salmon Arm, British Columbia, hired me full-time in the summer of 1996. So 30 years later, I went back to the same studio and had a picture taken.
That was so cool to see. The second thing is, what a great joy it was to see the Rangers win. It was just wonderful. And the third thing, I can't believe we lost Jack Pridham. I can't believe it.
Oh, you're a Chicago Blackhawks fan. That's right. Yeah.
It was like 1 minute, it's a great joy they win the Memorial, and then the next day we lost Jack Pridham. I couldn't believe I was so upset. I don't know what's going to happen now.
George, appreciate the call. I'm sorry that you lost a talent like Jack Pridham, but I think the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to be pretty happy. And I think Pridham is going to get his chance to try to crack an NHL lineup with the Tampa Bay Lightning. But yes, the Chicago Blackhawks traded away the rights to the Memorial Cup champion, Jack Pridham. We'll have lots more time to talk about these Kitchener Rangers. As mentioned, Chief Operating Officer Joe Birch joins us just after the 10 o'clock news this morning. And your morning wake-up call is minutes away. We can talk more about those Rangers if you've got something you just need to share about this hockey club. But I do have some business to take care of here on the show. What? Who? What? Why? I guess it's my fault for not checking. Who turned off the sound on my computer while I was gone? They should not be allowed to do that. I don't think that's right. As I was saying, I still do have some business to take care of here on the show today.
1, 2.
And of course, that piece of business is not 2 but 5, your Farwell Show 5 for this June the 2nd. Number 1, the region of Waterloo wants to know if banning right turns at red lights at major intersections could help make everything safer on local roads. A pilot project set to come up for discussion today that would test out such a ban at a dozen spots spread around Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge. Those spots include Hespeler and Eagle in Cambridge, a couple of places on Fairway Road, at Lackner and at Wilson, and 3 intersections on University Avenue at Weber, Phillip, and Albert. Now, if approved, the minimum 1-year pilot program would begin this September, with a report due back to Regional Council in late 2027 to say if the right turn on red bans actually made a difference. It all comes up for discussion at a Regional Council committee meeting this afternoon. Number 2, the investigation into threats made towards a local high school continues today. Waterloo Regional Police say online threats suggesting violence towards students and staff at Jacob Hespeler Secondary School were reported yesterday. Police are still looking into whether or not those threats are valid. This is the first Tuesday of the month, and Regional Police Chief Mark Crowell will be on the show with us this morning at 11. You can have your policing questions answered. Number 3, on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, the region's plans to expand Grand River Transit service into the townships. Well, it's going to have to wait. GRT was intending to expand bus service to connect Wellesley with Conestoga Mall, Ayr with the Dune campus of Conestoga College, and expanding the hours of operation for bus service in both Wilmot and Woolwich. But the Ontario Transit Investment Fund has not committed to the funding the region applied for, so the service expansion has been put off for at least a year. Number 4, Prime Minister Mark Carney launching a new federal advisory council aimed at tackling anti-Semitism and other forms of hate in Canada. The announcement was made yesterday at a temple in Toronto. The Prime Minister said Canada's civic compact is failing Jewish Canadians, and if that covenant fails for one of our communities, it fails us all. And number 5 on your Farwell Show 5 this morning, the federal government's new artificial intelligence strategy is expected to call for building a foundation for Canadian sovereign AI as one of its 6 pillars. The measure comes as a new report reveals 3 big U.S. tech companies have control over the vast majority of Canada's publicly available cloud infrastructure. The study from the Canadian Anti-Monopoly Project says Amazon, Microsoft, and Google held 85% of the public cloud market share in Canada, much higher than their global average of 66%.
A Monday warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Can I have 2 liters of pop? Can I have 2 liters of pop? Well, what's more healthy, 4 beers or 2 liters of Coca-Cola? Do the math.
Do the math. I did the math. It's 3 Memorial Cup championships for your Kitchener Rangers. And your morning wake-up call is coming right up. Either you can make it or I will. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Just ahead of your 9:30 update in the 570 News Center, it's your morning wake-up call. Rockin' Ronnie is with us. Good morning, Weebs.
Hi, Farzy. How are you?
So good, my friend. So good.
See you're back again.
Good to be back.
You likely had a beautiful time there.
It was not the worst time I've spent, for sure.
It ended up fantastic.
That was the best part of it all. Yep.
Yeah. It's like the old saying, Mike, I told you so. And I mentioned to different people up here at Morningside and New Hamburg here and different times, talked to people, and I said, this team reminds me of 2003. We were in Quebec. It seemed like that same team. You know, you could just feel it.
Yeah, you really could. This was a dominant Kitchener Rangers team for sure.
They sure were. And like I say, welcome back. Mike, you did a great job again, as usual. And good luck on your Farwell for Hire as well.
Thanks, Ronnie. Really appreciate that, my friend. Farwell for Hire is officially underway. If you have not yet checked it out, I will encourage you to visit cf5050.ca. That is cf5050.ca. Our 50/50 raffle is live. The take-home prize already worth more than $15,000. And if you buy your tickets now, like right now, certainly before this Friday, you will be included in our first early bird draw prize of $2,500 in cash, straight from TLC Pet Food in New Hamburg into your pocket. A $2,500 cash early bird prize is yours if you have your tickets before Friday. cf5050.ca. Chris, good morning. You're on the show.
Good morning. Let's go, Rangers!
Go, you Rangers!
I was looking for you on the ice. Did you make it?
I did make it down onto the ice after the post-game show, yep.
Oh, okay. Are you going to be on one of the floats in the parade?
Hell no. That's for the team. I will be
You're part of the team, Mike. You're part of the team.
Well, I appreciate that, Chris. I do. I'll be emceeing down at City Hall today.
All right. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too. I look forward to seeing you there. Again, let's come out in big numbers, okay, to support this club. It's a beautiful day. Everyone loves a parade. Time to get you that update from the 570 News Center. And then let's talk about reopening Waterloo Region. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. As nice as it is to bask in the glow of a local hockey championship, yes, it's true, the Kitchener Rangers are Memorial Cup champions. But we can't just bask in the glow when we have big issues to deal with here in the region, one of them being our ongoing water constraints. So let's dive into that conversation as we get underway this morning here on the show. And we are joined to talk more about it by Larry Maceo, who would probably know more than many about the impacts that this water constraint issue is having on development in the region. Larry, appreciate your time this morning. Good morning.
Morning, Mike.
When we talk about reopening Waterloo Region, what do we mean by that?
Well, what we mean is getting back to a situation where we're issuing freely development approvals, and developments can proceed through the development process and ultimately secure a building permit and proceed to construction. That's what we mean.
What gives you confidence that we are able to do that, given the water constraints that have been identified?
Well, we're not quite at the point where we have a lot of confidence yet. We're moving in the right direction. And I think with the intervention of the province and in certain matters, we are seeing some movement in terms of a partial reopening and a movement to a lower, what they call resiliency target at the outset, which will free up some limited capacity for new development to occur. But there's a lot of heavy lifting left, and at this point, we need to see more capacity brought on stream in a much quicker manner.
You, Larry, as a policy advisor with the Waterloo Region Home Builders Association, are a part of this coalition calling for the reopening of Waterloo Region. And you have looked at the methodology the region uses to measure water capacity. And I'm not certain that you necessarily agree with that methodology. What are your concerns in that regard?
Well, the concerns are really that it's primarily around the resiliency target. And the resiliency target is simply an excess capacity that the region would hold in abeyance so that when infrastructure pumps, things like that need to be taken offline, or if there was a breakage or a contamination event, that they would have excess capacity to deal with that issue without impacting the population that's currently existing. So there is no provincial standard or even requirement to have a resiliency factor. Technically speaking, as long as you can meet the demands of the system, then you're fine. Having said that, our association and our coalition, we recognize that having a resiliency factor is appropriate, and it's good planning and it's good business practice. But the region at this point is looking to secure a minimum 20% resiliency factor. And that, in our view, is excessive, particularly in the short term. It could be an aspirational target that they could achieve over the next several years, perhaps. But at this point, when we look at the numbers, through the water experts that we've engaged, we think that there is a situation where they could immediately proceed to full development approvals. By our estimation, there is approximately 10% of the total system capacity currently available once the initial transfers from some of the Wilmot Center wells is complete. So with that, I think we could go to a full reopening of development approvals and building permits in Waterloo Region, with obviously continued monitoring and continued advancing the new infrastructure that they're proposing.
Is the 20% resiliency factor that you reference unique to the region of Waterloo?
I'm not a water engineer, but my understanding is absolutely yes, it is unique to the region of Waterloo.
What have been the impacts, Larry, of these last 7 months or so here in the region since these constraints were identified, development was frozen, etc.? What's the impact of that been?
Well, the biggest and most obvious impact is simply the lack of building permits being issued. So there's virtually been very little new development that wasn't already in the works. Last December when this situation emerged. So there's been no new housing advanced since that time in Waterloo Region, or very little. So that's the biggest concern. And, the other concerns, stem from that. So if you're not advancing new builds, then all of the various trades and inputs to the home building sector are not working. Or if they are working, they're finishing up existing jobs, but they have no new job to go to. And that's having big impacts, as I understand it, throughout the region, across many trades companies and other companies that provide inputs, various inputs to the home building sector.
You mentioned earlier that progress is being or has been made. Where do things stand from your perspective with the Home Builders Association?
Well, from our perspective, I think, it's positive that the region is putting an all-hands-on-deck effort to get new capacity online and get this situation resolved. But when we look into the details through the experts that we have on our team, we're not convinced that they're doing everything they could in the short term to advance new water capacity and deal with this development freeze.
Do you have confidence in the experts that the region has engaged in this process?
Well, I don't want to put it that I don't have confidence in their experts. They are experts. They do know what they're doing, but they're not necessarily making the recommendations or the decisions that we feel that could be made at this time.
There is an opportunity for progress at Regional Council tomorrow when the interim risk management framework is up for discussion. What would you like to see happen, Larry?
Well, straightforward, we have essentially 5 requests that we're going to put to Regional Council tomorrow morning. The first is that we want them to adopt an initial maximum resiliency target of 10%. And that's based on a hybrid of 3 risk management scenarios that they presented in their staff report. Secondly, we want them to immediately publish a forward-looking service policy, establish clear and transparent allocation framework together with defined criteria, timelines, and regular reporting, because we think that's essential to getting development reopened. Third, we want projects that are already in the full, have already received full planning approvals. They need to be able to proceed through conditional building permits and phased construction immediately. And then fourth, the region can move to increasing conservation measures and, continuing to do whatever they can to save water while the resiliency is operating below their desired 20%. And then fifth, we want to establish a unified interim allocation policy across all of the affected area municipalities, because it is a regional housing market, and the last thing this region needs on top of the crisis we're already dealing with is a situation where the rules and the criteria for issuing building permits and development approvals differs across every area municipality. Obviously, our members, or many of them, operate across multiple jurisdictions in Waterloo Region, and we need our members to be able to plan appropriately and pivot to wherever the market is within Waterloo Region without being constrained by different criteria at different area municipalities.
Larry, I really appreciate your time on the show this morning. We will watch tomorrow's council meeting with interest, obviously, and thank you very much for being on the show today.
You're welcome, Mike. Thank you.
Larry Maceo is a policy advisor with the Waterloo Region Home Builders Association, and you hear it in pretty plain English there from Larry, the 5 requests that the Home Builders Association and others in this coalition that have come together to say, let's reopen Waterloo Region. The 5 requests they will make of our regional council at its meeting tomorrow. Obviously, you are getting the side of this from the development community. And I know there is an argument that has been made, and perhaps it would be fair to say an argument that is gaining momentum, that we don't need any more growth. But if we set that argument aside, we recognize that this region, whether you like it or not, has been targeted, or identified would be the better word, as an area that not only can but should absorb more growth, right? The growth to 1 million people, I just want to remind you, is not local politicians and planners saying it. It is the provincial Places to Grow legislation, which is more than 2 decades old at this point. We have long been identified as this area that can and should sustain greater growth. So this is where we're at. Do we need to protect farmland while we grow? I think so. Absolutely. Do we need to protect a resource that is as precious as our water? Absolutely. We have long trumpeted the fact that we are a community that relies almost exclusively, around 80% of our water comes from groundwater sources, and we were pretty damn proud of that, and understandably so. And yet, here we are. Let me tell you a couple of things I know about this, because I haven't taken my eye off the ball when it comes to this major issue that we're dealing with. And it still remains incredibly curious to me that it seemed to have happened overnight. How? How is that the case? Like, all of a sudden, last fall, this is identified and boom, a freeze in development. Here are 2 things that have come to my attention in the months since. One of the things is that in the days, and I do mean days, maybe a week at most, before this announcement was made that we have to pause development because we have a water constraint issue, within days of that announcement locally, we had a delegation of regional officials in Toronto at Queen's Park appealing for tens of millions of dollars in infrastructure funding to shore up our local water systems. That delegation was met with no real positive response. So the tens of millions of dollars was not going to be freed up by the province to help us with our infrastructure here. And then days later, maybe a week later, we announced that we've got this problem and we need to stop development. We need to pause development. That would be a wacky power play, okay? If you're like, well, we need this money because we don't have it municipally. Provincial government, you need to help us shore up our water infrastructure. Oh, you're not going to help us? Fine. We're going to pause development and create a water crisis. But I'm just telling you, that's what happened. That request was made, tens of millions of dollars, and the province didn't bite. So if you want to connect those dots, that's up to you. But I know that the meeting happened, and then within about a week of that meeting, suddenly we have a full-blown crisis here. The other thing that I find really curious is the internationally recognized expert that the region has appointed to help us get through this water crisis doesn't even spend all of his time here. He still makes his home down east. He comes here for a few weeks, then he goes back home. If we are in the midst of a crisis, and I think the word is overused anyway, but if we are, don't you think the internationally recognized expert should spend all of his time here just asking for a friend? But come on with your coming on. This is what I know. And you heard from Larry Maceo what the Home Builders Association is feeling. I always like to know what you're feeling and thinking on the show, so we'll take your calls right after this. It's the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
There is approximately 10% of the total system capacity currently available once the initial transfer from some of the Wilmot Center wells is complete. So with that, I think we could go to a full reopening of development approvals and building permits in Waterloo Region.
That is Larry Maceo, a policy advisor with the Waterloo Region Home Builders Association, part of a coalition appealing to the region of Waterloo and our council to reopen the region for development. Let's go to the phones and hear from you. Chris, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. I'm going to double dip today. This actually affects directly my job. I deliver plumbing, HVAC to new houses, new towers. Any new construction that happens in this city, my job is actually directly affected by this water crisis. I don't think we should be opening, and I know I'm losing business for our business that I'm part of it. We're losing business because of this. But I really think the region needs to keep the buildings at a halt. We don't need to be taking water away from wells in other rural communities. Let them have that. That is theirs. That is not for the city of Kitchener or Waterloo to be dipping into. And I really think that I don't know how this became overnight. This is just mind-baffling.
Yes, it certainly is one thing that boggles the mind, that this was an all-of-a-sudden thing. And you talk about taking water from other parts of the region to support larger municipalities. Just brace yourself for October when we have an appointed regional chair. What do you think that new appointed chair's approach is going to be in this regard? Barbara, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Go Rangers.
Absolutely.
Back to the water and sewer crisis. Mike, I have been saying for a very long time that the region of Waterloo completely ignores sewers. I've demonstrated, I've explained, I've talked about it, and the region continues to just focus on the water when, as I've explained before, our groundwater is leaking away through our sewers because we're not looking after our sewers. There are national guidelines that require that we look after sewers. So, they went to hire someone to solve this, and they hire another water expert. This is not good enough. Chair Redmond again said, I don't know, in the paper a week ago or something, we'll leave no stone unturned. I guess no stone except sewers. I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's embarrassing that they just continue to pretend that sewers have nothing to do with this, and this is not good enough. And, on a related note, we must investigate what happened here. I know everybody keeps saying, well, we don't want to look back. We don't want to blame anybody. I'm not talking about blaming anybody. I'm talking about examining how it is that we got this far without people, people are in silos at municipalities, without anybody paying attention to the fact that modeling and actual water levels are a completely different thing. This is just embarrassing, and I'm just breathless about the fact that they're just ignoring sewers, the same sewers that are draining away our groundwater. It's not good enough, Mike. We need to do a better job, and we need another regional chair who's going to take the lead on this for sure.
Barbara, real quick, because I'm already out of time, but how can we hear you talk about this on Saturday in support of Farwell for Hire?
Oh, there you go, Mike. So on Saturday, I'm going, so in case people don't know.
Real quick, I'm out of time. Give us the details.
Okay. I'm speaking on Saturday. I'm doing a sewer talk. I do them all over Ontario, and I explain to people how sewers work, how public sewers, private sewers.
Where and when?
Yeah, Knox Waterloo, 2:00 on Saturday. Mike Farwell's hosting. I'm going to do my sewer talk. Okay, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, bye. Okay, Knox Waterloo, Presbyterian, okay, Urban Caroline. And that's 2:00 Saturday. Come out and join Barbara, it's always Barbara and I, and we'll raise some money for Farwell for Hire, too. It's the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio, Rogers TV. I mean, for this season, right, the job is done. And tomorrow, I think we can allow the team and everyone associated with it the chance to celebrate today when we get together in downtown Kitchener. But tomorrow, we start working on next season and winning another one of those Memorial Cup things, don't we? What a couple of weeks it has been. What a season it was for your Kitchener Rangers. And the Chief Operating Officer of the hockey club, Joe Birch, joins us to talk more about it this morning. Joe, good morning.
Mike, good morning.
How much sleep have you had since Sunday?
Well, much like everyone else, we traveled home and arrived early in KW on yesterday morning, and I had a little bit of a cat nap yesterday to get caught up, and it's been returning very nice phone calls, texts, and emails from so many people. So not a lot, but you know what? You sign me up for this next year, I'm all in.
I love the sound of that, Joe, because it is a little bit contagious, isn't it?
It's special. And, I think I've said a few times to others, chatting with Mike McKenzie this morning, and it's a little bit pinch me, is this surreal? Are we in this right now? And, we're talking about where do we put the replica Memorial Cup in the dressing room now for our players to experience and to live in history. And it's really, really an unbelievable feeling and experience. And I'm so proud of the players and the staff and everybody who's contributed to this, our fans, the community, yourselves, and you're part of this. This is a community team, and this is a community win, and it's something that we can all remember together.
September the 19th of 2025, Joe, that was the regular season and home opener for the Kitchener Rangers. Sunday, the Memorial Cup win marked game number 90. 96 if you want to count the preseason, but
96, that's right.
Okay, 96, exactly. When you think back now as Memorial Cup champions on all of that time, those 96 games taking us back to September, what do you reflect on?
Well, I think it's a really it's gratitude is the one word that I used quite a bit of, because I'm so grateful for everyone who has made the sacrifices and the commitment to the organization from that time, and even beyond that, whether it was starting with our draft preparations in April of 2023 for what we thought was going to be a Memorial Cup run in 26-27. This has been years in the making in some respects, but I'm grateful for the resiliency and the never quit that lived in the org all year long. And as it's been well documented, we faced some things this year. Adam Valentini, Oscar Hemming, loss of Memorial Cup bid. Nobody quit. And in fact, we dug in harder. And it actually makes it that much more enjoyable with the result that we're looking at today, which is an OHL champion and a Memorial Cup championship that gets to live with all of us.
When you talk about all of us, Joe, there was a really special feeling in and around Kelowna when we got to see so many of the people who are working for this organization towards this common shared goal of winning a championship. But it goes so far beyond what we see on the ice and behind the bench. That's what most of us see as fans when we're cheering on the team. But there are so many other internal parts to making this all come together. How much goes into building a team like this and executing a championship season?
Well, it is. And I think that's the beauty of our approach here that we've always taken with everyone in the org, whether it was me and Steve and in through our previous presidents and board members. It's greater than just Joe or Mike or Yussi or it's the players, it's the fans. I mean, that fan support, that picture that was taken in front of that dolphin outside of the rink in Kelowna with the 300 or almost 400 fans, pregame really screamed who we were. And the ability for you to tell the story to the fans who couldn't get there and our comms team to share on social media to the fans who couldn't get there, that's what it's all about. And it's the ability to be able to connect with fans year over year. And I mean, I had a lot of people in Kelowna say to me, holy smokes, the Rangers Nations travel. And I said, yes, they do. And they're passionate about us and they love us. And so it's far greater than just the 26, 28 players and the 22 full-time staff. It's bigger than that. And that's what makes us unique. And that's what makes this community so special. And I think that's why it means so much to all of us. And we're just really, really proud to be able to share it today and share it moving forward with everyone.
You mentioned the adversity that this team has gone through, the ups and downs through the season, and perhaps chief among those downs, Joe, was learning last November that you would not be the Memorial Cup hosts next year. That will be the Guelph Storm, but you've probably heard the same joke made since this championship run for your hockey club. We should send the Guelph Storm a thank you because now you win the Memorial Cup and they have to do all the work next year. But how much of a factor was that loss of the Memorial Cup bid a factor in winning it this year?
Well, it was part of it for sure because, I mean, we had to make some decisions. And to the credit of Mike McKenzie and our hockey ops, they made a really tricky decision in and around early mid-December of what are we doing with this hockey roster? Are we going to continue on our 26-27 path, or are we going to, use the word pivot here and get after it for this year? And they made some calculated decisions and made some incredible acquisitions to build to the core that was already here. So it was absolutely part of it. But I said this, and I'm going to continue to say it. Guelph is going to be a tremendous host. They are a great organization with amazing people over there. It's an excellent hockey community. It's got a downtown feel, and it's different than us, and that's okay. I wouldn't trade anything that we went through this year from where we're sitting today for what happened to us in November. It's all part of our story, and that makes it that much more special.
Speaking of hosts and host venues, how did you feel about the experience in Kelowna? Well, I'm going to move and set up shop in wine country over the lake and the mountains. But holy smokes, I mean, for fans who haven't and people who haven't been to Western Canada, particularly that part of British Columbia, it's spectacular, and it really was a special backdrop. Just to add to the hockey special things that were going on in the rink with our team particularly. But our players were able to enjoy, Lake Okanagan and the surroundings, and I think that actually led to all of it, is this really, unique and glorious part of our country that just made the story that much better. But what a spot, Mike. I was looking back before the final game on Sunday, Joe, just to put the numbers behind the dominance of your hockey club since the calendar flipped to January. There were only five out of more than 50 games, 5 regulation losses in the more than 50 games, playoffs included, that you played since the calendar turned to 2026. 2 losses in the playoffs, of course, only 2. You go 10-0 on home ice. You run your way 4-0 through the Memorial Cup round robin, or the tournament itself, with the 4th win, of course, coming in the championship. I think that belies a little bit, though, the level of competition. Yes, the Kitchener Rangers were dominant for sure, and the statistics show that, but it doesn't mean it was easy. What makes the Memorial Cup such a hard trophy to win?
Well, I mean, the 20-2 record in playoffs is something that is really, really special. But to make the Memorial Cup, just to get there, I mean, we went through some really, really tremendous competition here between Barrie and in Windsor and Sioux and Saginaw, and I think Barrie would have competed really well in the Memorial Cup. They have a heck of a hockey team. But at the Memorial Cup, you're dealing with two other champions, and they went through the same thing. And I believe Everett sat at top of the CHL rankings for a better part of the entire CHL season, and Chicoutimi beat, really strong Moncton team out there. But you're dealing with the best of the best, and that's what makes this trophy. I've heard it more often now since we won. It's if it's not the hardest trophy in sports to win, it's one of them, and because you're not dealing with teams that gain just an entry. You're dealing with other league champions. They understand how to win. They have experience. They have NHL drafted players, and they all want the same thing. They all want that, the magical prize at the end there. And so it's incredibly hard to win. I remember, hearing a story from Pete DeBoer when he first won back in 2003, and he talks about how as a player he lost it in his first year. I think when he played in Windsor as a Spitfire, and they chased it for 20 years. I've worked in the league for 20 years, starting in the OHL in 2006, and I've chased it for 20 years in different fashions, I guess. And this thing's hard to win, and it's really special, and I'm really excited for our staff and our players.
Unsurprisingly, the community is coming together. The city of Kitchener has quickly planned the parade and rally for later today in downtown Kitchener. How do you feel as that moment approaches about 7-8 hours from now?
It's going to be exciting, Mike, and a big shout out goes to Mayor Barrie and Steve from his team and Chantal from our side. And along the way, we quietly have been planning this thing without putting the cart before the horse. I had a couple calls with city staff throughout the Memorial Cup in preparation and just the ability to turn it around in a short period of time. They deserve a lot of credit. The weather's going to play favor to us, which is magnificent. And I know we had several fans who were at the Odd here when we arrived back on the bus at 7 a.m. You saw them on yesterday morning. I hope that there are thousands of fans there to celebrate this with our players and our staff today, because it's something special and remarkable. But we're excited. It's special. It's all part of the experience, and we're looking forward to bringing the cup down through downtown Kitchener today.
I hope so too. Thousands would be an appropriate number for sure, and. I don't know about you, Birchie, but I feel greedy. Like, can we do this again sometime, please?
Parsi, I like the plan. It's as you said out of the gate here, the calendar has already begun for preparations for 26, 27, and it'll turn quickly. We have a draft next weekend, which is an exciting part in the season that helps to prepare for the next following year, and then we have followed quickly by mini camp. So we're already into it, and this bug and this greed that we have in us will burn inside of us to try to do this again. So we're going to put our best foot forward, that's for sure.
Thanks so much for making time for the show again today, as you have so many times previously, and I look forward to the next conversation. I'll see you later today in downtown Kitchener.
Thanks, Farsi, and thanks again to all the support you guys did throughout the event and telling the story. And thanks to our fans for a really, really special season and their tremendous support. We look forward to seeing them today.
Sounds great. We'll see you then. Thanks, Joe. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mike.
Joe Birch. We call him Birchie because we're hockey people. That's how it works. But, oh, boy, what a ride. And I meant it. All I keep thinking about is Bill Murray at the end of Scrooged. Right, so Bill Murray, of course, it's the modern day take on the Christmas Carol classic and Ebenezer Scrooge, and Bill Murray, has the visits from the ghosts, and then everything changes, and at the end of the movie, he's giving the big speech about how we can have this feeling, you can do it every day, this Christmas spirit that's supposed to stay with us every single day. We can do it. We just have. I want that. Oh my gosh, what a feeling. And I don't think it could ever get old, winning a Memorial Cup, watching a team do what the Kitchener Rangers did. And I will just say again, I really hope that you will take a moment today, even if you don't come for the entire thing. Stop by for the parade for a moment, cheer the team as it parades down King Street, and celebrate the hard work that they put in on and off the ice for these past 9 months to win the third Memorial Cup trophy in franchise history. It all gets underway this evening at 6. You can start lining the parade route beforehand, okay? But King and Queen is a good starting point if you want to get a prime location. And then from King and Queen all the way down to City Hall for the several blocks there. And as the Rangers parade passes you by, you are invited to join that procession and then march right down to City Hall, where Carl's Air Square will be ready to go with the stage to welcome the players. Dave Schneider, of course, the voice on the PA at the Memorial Auditorium, will introduce the players. We'll have some speeches, hot dogs from Moose Winooski's by the thousands. Let's eat them all, okay? And I don't mean 5 each. I mean, let's have thousands of people in downtown Kitchener today to celebrate this incredible hockey journey and the Memorial Cup Championship from Sunday night in Kelowna. Great opportunity for us later on today. I hope to see you in downtown Kitchener. Going to take a quick break. When we come back, it is that time of day that we set aside for an opportunity to remind you that not everyone is a jackwagon. You may have encountered a jackwagon or even two on your drive to work today. Some people don't use their turn signals, you know. It makes them jackwagons. But not everyone is a jackwagon, and I'm going to keep it in this theme of the Ontario Hockey League. Wait till I tell you what this young player in the OHL went and done. Your Not Everyone is a Jackwagon story is coming up. Stay with us on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. A little more than 2 months ago, the Kitchener Rangers began their OHL playoff journey. About 3 weeks ago, May the 12th, the Kitchener Rangers won the OHL championship. And of course, this past weekend, they capped it all off with a perfect Memorial Cup tournament and the third Memorial Cup trophy in franchise history. Get out to downtown Kitchener later today and celebrate the team. It all gets underway at 6. Corner of King and Queen would be a good place to start crowding the sidewalks for the Kitchener Rangers championship parade. And oh yeah, speaking of the OHL...
Not everyone's a jackwagon. Not every heart is cold. Not every promise made to you is gonna turn to gold then fold. Some people mean it when they say they care. Some folks will show up, actually be there. So don't close the door on every soul you meet. Not everyone's a jackwagon on this street.
The Kitchener Rangers are one of only 20 teams to play in the Ontario Hockey League. Another one of those teams is the Sudbury Wolves. The Wolves have never won the Memorial Cup, but they do have on their team, the Sudbury Wolves do, a player by the name of Luca Blonda. He is a defenseman for the Sudbury Wolves. And last summer, he found himself in beautiful Thessalon, Ontario. He's originally a Sioux guy. So up Highway 17 way is Thessalon, and that's where he was enjoying some time at the Pinecrest Tent and Trailer Park. It was late in the evening, and as Luca Blonda, the defenseman for the Sudbury Wolves, was walking through the park, he heard a woman cry for help. He found her face down in the water. And when he went in to try and find out what was going on, he found that she was unconscious. So Luca Blonda, this 17-year-old defenseman for the Sudbury Wolves, provides CPR because he had learned lifeguard training at school. And then his girlfriend called 911. The paramedics made their way to the beach, took over from there, and the woman's life was saved thanks to the quick action and CPR skills of a 17-year-old junior hockey player with the Sudbury Wolves, who has since been awarded the Ontario Provincial Police Commissioner's citation for life-saving, which was a ceremony held at the Sioux Detachment of the OPP. Luca Blonda, defenseman for the Sudbury Wolves, and thanks to the CPR training he got in school, a lifesaver at Pinecrest Tent and Trailer Park in Thessalon. You see, not everyone is a jackwagon. And if you know someone who is not, let me know about them. Drop me an email, mike@570news.com. I'm going to get you an update from the 570 News Center. And then let's take a second look, because it is worth a second look, don't you know? You'll find out all about it coming up on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Well, it's something I have said before, but I feel as though it bears repeating, as I do have guests in studio with me at this moment. My favorite guests are in-studio guests. There's just something about that feel, and I always appreciate the opportunity for a more personal connection as we talk for the next little bit about Worth a Second Look. I bet you have heard the name. I'll bet you've seen the storefront as well, but we're going to learn lots more about it. Eamon El-Dessouky is with us, who is the host at Worth a Second Look. Eamon, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
An absolute pleasure. Joe Mancini is with us as well, a director at the Working Center. Always good to see you, Joe. Good morning.
Hello, Michael.
Eamon, I'll start with you. What makes Worth a Second Look different than your average thrift store?
So lots of things. Honestly, Worth a Second Look, it's not like a regular thrift store. So I'm going to start with when I started 2017 in the store, and I found this welcoming atmosphere for everyone, volunteering, and, everyone was there as like a family, exactly like a family, right? And I said this before, many times. The most important thing with the store that repurposing items. We don't like seeing stuff going to landfill, right? So, and that's the most important thing. So we are taking this stuff and repurposing and refurbish and make it ready for another home. And in last January, for example, since January, last January, we did 74 delivery and pickups, and we did 24 homes. We are helping with the region, with helping with other organizations, and yeah. See, it's different.
How does, you talk about all the work that goes into the refurbishing, the volunteers, but how do you do the work that you do? You bring items in and then make sure they're ready for a new home.
Yes, we do have a pickup service for free. And if you have a couch in your home, if you have items, housewares, anything, that you can call us and we come to your place and we pick up the items and go to the store. We have some volunteers also looking at the items and make it ready for another home, and how this is go all the time, yeah.
Joe, how does what's happening at Worth a Second Look support the Working Center?
Well, the origins of Worth a Second Look was when we purchased 97 Victoria in 2005. And of course, we were renovating the second floor into St. John's Kitchen. And there had been a thrift store down below run by St. Vincent de Paul. They basically said, take it. and we called it Worth a Second Look. And we had been working with Vincent de Paul to do that because we really wanted to focus on furniture and housewares. And right away, the amount of furniture and housewares coming into the store was just, we had, I think, 3,500 square feet, and it was just filled with stuff. And money was coming in. And I often say that we renovated upstairs St. John's Kitchen from the proceeds of Worth a Second Look, because we didn't have a store infrastructure. We were just the money. We were selling stuff all day long, and we were paying people to do the work upstairs. And it really So then, Worth a Second Look has been a way to provide revenue for St. John's Kitchen and the 97 Victoria campus until we moved.
Until you moved the kitchen or worth a second look?
Yes, because of the big renovation at 97 Victoria.
Right.
And that's a big reason why we wanted to come on the show to talk about Worth a Second Look. Because of the renovation, of course, 97 Victoria has the new St. John's Kitchen, which is in the former, what we call Worth a Second Look, Wassel. So we would say it was in the Wassel parking lot. The new St. John's Kitchen is. And then, of course, we built 44 units of housing up above, the 44 dorms, and the medical clinic, and the washrooms and showers. So the whole campus of 97 Victoria is all focused on the work of St. John's Kitchen. But that meant we had to move Worth a Second Look. And where we chose was one of our buildings at 37 Market Lane. And so that has definitely dropped the visibility, being on Victoria Street, right by the bus station there, right at Victoria and Weber. The amount of people coming in was just a steady number of people all day long. On Market Lane, it doesn't have the same visibility, but we have the same products. We have the same goods that we recycle. Eamon and the crew are going to people's houses every day, picking up used furniture and bringing it back to the store. Volunteers are refurbishing the stuff and putting it out for sale.
Okay, Market Lane is a lovely little spot, but it is tucked away. I get that for sure. So, Eamon, how can people not only find you, but maybe make a donation or do some shopping at Wassel or Worth a Second Look?
Oh, exactly. They can email us at the store, like it's Wassel, as Joe said, like we love it, Wassel, WSL, Wassel at theworkingcenter.org. Or they can call us at 519, but this is line 1, 519-569-7566, line 1. It has to be line 1.
Okay.
Yeah. And they can send picture also through the email, and we get look, and we can call them back, and we will arrange for a pickup for them.
Okay, Wassel, so WASL at theworkingcenter.org.
Yes.
That's the email address.
Yeah, and that stands for Worth a Second Look.
I like the idea. What a great name, too, because that's what, keeping stuff out of the landfill. And given the work that the volunteers do, Joe, this stuff is very much worth that second look for somebody.
Yeah. And when Eamon said that, we helped 24 people through the region. What he meant by that was these would be individuals probably homeless or close to it who had gained housing. And so Worth a Second Look is a great place where people can come and shop for what they need. It's very affordable. The region provides a voucher, and the person is able to outfit their home. And that was really one of the original ideas of Worth a Second Look. To give the working center a place where we had the furniture, we had the dishes and the pots and the kinds of things you need, the lamps or the bedside table, having all those things available. And people are really, when you don't have a lot and that you walk into a store and it's all there, usually you have to say, no, the voucher's only for $100, not for $500.
Right.
But people wish it was for $500 because then they could really outfit their house.
But the value in that, go ahead, Eamon.
I was going to say, for this, we always make sure that they can have what they need, right? So if the voucher, yes, $100, but he likes this couch for $110. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of the barter system that can work there. I get that. But the value, Joe, in being able to provide that for somebody who is moving into a new space, what those things to fill that space mean to the individual that's receiving them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it means a ton. And I think you see that every day at Wassel, just by the customers who come in, the volunteers who help out. There's just this exchange. And that's why we feel like it's a community, a family, because it's kind of like it's a store that's helping everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
It's helping the person who's coming in, often a new Canadian or someone who's, they maybe have a house, but they don't have a lot of money. But this is a place where the value is good, but really importantly, it's really useful items like that bedside table or the lamp or the right kind of pot, electrical equipment. How many kinds of electrical things do you have in stock? Like you name it, bread makers.
Bread makers, like air condition, like heaters, like lamps, like radios, everything, like except like stove. We don't have big stoves like there.
Right. Eamon, my notes say that you are the manager at Worth a Second Look, but you said when you sat down in the studio, host. Joe referred to you as a host a long time ago, and you like that. Why do you like being described as the host of Wassel, Worth a Second Look?
If you're gonna come, stay with us, live with us one day at Worth a Second Look, and you can see this with our volunteers, for example. So we have different kind of volunteers. We have like multiple, big range of volunteers. Like we have placement from the schools, we have the university, we have the co-op from the high school. We are working with volunteers with other organizations like Kids Ability and other communities. We have volunteers like who are like retired and coming like to just like find a time and do their skills and teach us their skills as well. So it's a life in Worth a Second Look. This is what always I see it like that.
Yeah. Joe, I mentioned at the outset that we have probably seen the storefront, and I remember it so well because our family long supported St. Vincent de Paul when it was their building, and then I remember the sign at Weber and Victoria, but 97 Victoria Street is what we're talking about here, and how much different it is. So Worth a Second Look now on Market Lane.
Yeah.
But when you consider the transformation at 97 Victoria, what does it make you think about, considering the roots of that?
Yeah. Well, I used to say the Wassel parking lot was probably the craziest place, as crazy a place in downtown Kitchener as ever, just because cars coming in, there was trucks going out, there were people always milling around. There was St. John's Kitchen upstairs, so there's more foot traffic than most kind of stores would ever see. And so it was always a lot of fun. But boy, what a change, to put St. John's Kitchen now right in the parking lot. And to, I was just driving by it, and you just see that open courtyard as people walk in using it. It's used, up near the end of the month, 400 people a day will be in St. John's Kitchen. This winter, in the cold, you walked into St. John's Kitchen and there were like 300 people, just sheltering from the cold during the day. And then, of course, at night we had the warming center. So the transformation has really been amazing. And it's been, but also, if you think of Worth a Second Look, it helped us, root ourselves in that building. And Worth a Second Look was such an important part of the St. John's Kitchen 97 Victoria campus. And but moving it away takes a bit of Wassel's heart away too. But now we're trying to reestablish it at Market Lane, and you can get it right off King Street. So there is the Working Center also owns 256 King, which were Fresh Ground and Recycle Cycles, the bike shop. In fact, the three social enterprises of the Working Center are all located there. So it's kind of like Market Lane and 256 King. And there is a laneway where you can drive in, and there is parking. There's a place where the trucks can come in.
Right off King. So just past EB we would be then, right?
That's just past EB. Excellent there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Recycle Cycles and Fresh Ground Cafe is all there. They're quite busy spots, lots of activity going on. And of course, there's always furniture coming in to Worth a Second Look.
Eamon, are there hours of operation or is it by appointment? How can we get there and what hours?
Yes, our hours like Tuesday to Saturday, Tuesday to Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday from 9 to 4.
Okay.
And we have a special this week as well. It's 50% off furniture this week. And
Yeah, and we were saying it's 50% off specific furniture items, but we thought for this show, if anyone is listening to Mike Farwell right now, we'll take another 10% off.
We're getting bargains galore here.
You got to admit, that's pretty good.
Okay.
But we certainly would love for people to come down and see the store, see what a beautiful community it is, and you're going to find a bargain, but you're also going to find something useful that can be reused.
I really like that. And the social enterprises you talked about, Joe, what a beautiful spot then just to stop in, get a coffee at Fresh Ground, right?
That's right.
Recycle Cycles is there, as Joe talked about, and then Wassel. Worth a second look. That email address, Wassel, WASL, at theworkingcenter.org. And Eamon, can you remind us that phone number one more time, please?
It is 519-569-7566, line 1.
756. Okay, 519-569-7566. Take line 1. That'll put you in touch with Eamon and his team. And maybe if you've got something to donate that they can bring new life to, then volunteers will be happy to come and pick that up as well. Eamon, Joe, it's a great story. I'm so glad we could share it on the show today. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
Joe Mancini, a director with the Working Center, and Eamon L. Dasuki is the host at Worth a Second Look. Find them on Market Lane. The lane is right off King Street by EB in downtown Kitchener. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. There is a whole heck of a lot going on, isn't there? Which is one of my favorite parts about hosting a show just like this. I get to kind of keep my finger on the pulse of things that are going on, like having Joe Mancini and Eamon L. Dasuki in here to talk about Worth a Second Look, which has relocated from Weber and Victoria. It had a storefront on Victoria Street North in Kitchener to Market Lane. And so we want to make sure that you still know where to find Worth a Second Look, because it supports the great work that's being done at the Working Center, which is a long-standing organization that does so much for so many in our community. We've got stories like that to always share. And of course, we've been dominated here on the station and in the community with the championship that the Kitchener Rangers just won, their third Memorial Cup in franchise history, which is super exciting. And we're going to celebrate in championship style with a big parade later today in downtown Kitchener. I really hope you take some time to show up and celebrate the hard work that not just these young athletes, but particularly these young athletes and everyone else within the Rangers organization did to bring this championship home to Kitchener. 23 years since our last Memorial Cup, we have another one, and it's pretty gosh darn special from where I'm sitting. Here's something else that's going on, and this has deep meaning to me, so forgive the shameless plug here, but you may have heard by now about this fundraising campaign that I do each and every year. This is year number 13 of Farwell for Hire, and every year prior to this year, I did it in the month of May, but the Kitchener Rangers kept me pretty busy, and I'm happy for that. I really am. But we're not missing Farwell for Hire. This means so much to me because it raises money for cystic fibrosis research. And cystic fibrosis is a cause that is near and dear to my heart because it claimed the lives of two of my sisters, and it claimed them far too soon, to be blunt with you. My sister Luann was only 24 years old when she succumbed to cystic fibrosis, and my sister Sherry was only 18, and they passed away within 9 months of one another from this awful, rotten, disgusting disease. And I know so many of us are dealing with so many different things in our families, but this is one that has particularly affected mine. It continues to affect families in our community today, and it is my way of honoring my sisters to try to raise as much money as we can for research into a cure for cystic fibrosis so that families still living with it today will have a better outcome than our family did. We are already improving those lives. The medications that have come along are helping patients with cystic fibrosis not just live healthier, but live longer. And this is a great thing. But I am focused on that cure. I want us to get there. And to that end, the annual Farwell for Hire fundraising campaign, we are underway for another year. And the best way, one of the easiest ways to support it is by buying a 50-50 raffle ticket. It really is that simple. Last year, we gave away more than $120,000, which means cystic fibrosis research got more than $120,000. So we launched the raffle just yesterday. The jackpot is already more than $31,000, which means your take-home prize is more than $15,500. And you can get tickets right now at cf5050.ca. cf5050.ca. And if you get your tickets before Friday, you're eligible for our first early bird prize, which is a $2,500 cash prize from our friends at TLC Pet Food in New Hamburg. So get your tickets right now, get in on the jackpot, and help us raise funds for cystic fibrosis research. cf5050.ca. This is the Mike Farwell Show on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Well, it feels like I'm back in studio for the first time in a month, even though it's only been a couple of weeks following the Kitchener Rangers to the Memorial Cup in British Columbia. But as I return to the studio today, it just so happens to be the first Tuesday of the month of June. And on the first Tuesday of every month between 11 and 12, we are joined by Regional Police Chief Mark Crowell and Staff Sergeant, Executive Officer. Now, I got to get Inspector right. I don't want to shortchange Inspector Scott Griffiths, Executive Officer in the Office of the Chief. They are here to answer your policing questions. Scott, Inspector Griffiths, my apologies, sir. I got to keep up with my your quick ascent up the ranks at Waterloo Regional Police. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike. Welcome back, and look forward to chatting with you.
Always look forward to these conversations as well. Mark, good morning to you also.
Good morning, Mike, and thanks for accommodating us virtually. We're joining you today from beautiful Niagara Falls. We're attending the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police conference here over a couple days. So thanks for making this happen.
I'm glad that you were able to still make it happen. I like the consistency. I know our listeners appreciate it as well. I often get emails. I know the chief is coming on this day or that day, because they know that first Tuesday we always lock this in. And it's great that the two of you two are dressed as professionally as you are, while I sit here in a Kitchener Rangers t-shirt today. So at least one of us or two of us are holding up the end of the bargain. Chief, let me start with you as we dive into the questions here. And the first place I wanted to start was with the what's been described as a targeted shooting, but shots fired at a home in Cambridge yesterday. What can you tell us about what we know to this point?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, another shooting in our community. It happened just about 2:50 a.m., so before 3 o'clock in the morning, in the area of Sims Estate Drive and Fairway Road North in Kitchener. And we received multiple calls of gunfire, and it took us a few hours to determine exactly where it had occurred. So ultimately, bullet holes were located in the exterior of a home. Nobody was injured. But this is a stark event in our community when there's another shooting. So a dark SUV was seen leaving the area in a high rate of scene. And we're continuing to investigate with our general investigations unit. So as always, we're doing a canvass of the neighborhood for video information of any kind to help us to piece this together. And we're appealing for anyone to come forward with any helpful information to WRPS or to Crime Stoppers. So I can certainly give you some context to where we are in the year, but I'll allow you to maybe intervene.
Well, when you say another shooting, Mark, and I think many of us feel that same way, because incidents like this are rather jarring. I would go so far as to suggest it wasn't something that we heard an awful lot about many years ago. So the frequency of such incidents, how great a concern is that from the regional police perspective?
Well, any discharge of a firearm in our community is concerning when it's especially in a residential neighborhood or anywhere. This is a targeted incident. It's not random. This is, as we piece it together, somebody with intent, fired at this residence to send a message or to harm somebody. There's only, a couple reasons why it occurs. So in context, this is the fifth shooting of 2026. We have had an average of about 21 shootings per year over the past 5 years. It's been quite consistent. Last year, there were 18. And as I've said, pretty much every month that I'm with you, this is our number one concern, is trying to reduce and eliminate any gun violence in our community. So it is concerning. We know that especially in a residential neighborhood, this causes great alarm and concern, and we are adamant as our top priority.
Okay. Gun violence being one thing, and incidents such as this, we know also, Mark, that the province is certainly interested in combating the illegal drug industry. And to that end, they've got the Protecting Ontario Streets and Communities Act. How does that legislation help you at Waterloo Regional Police combat illegal drugs?
Yeah, and just to draw these two things together, we know that gun violence is often tied to, gun and gang violence and drug trafficking. So there is proposed legislation called the Protecting Ontario Streets and Communities Act. And one of the features of the legislation pertains to seeking to provide tools to police related to the possession, production, and trafficking of materials. Things such as pill presses, which actually turn powder into pills that can be trafficked, and also precursor chemicals. And these are things that we will continue to work with government and policing partners to advocate to complement existing legislation. But it's all about disrupting the supply chain of drugs as they're created here or elsewhere that end up reaching our community members and creating harm. So just for some context, for the overdoses that lead to death and serious injuries in our community, this year we've had about 17 deaths in 2026. And over 600 total overdose incidents that we and paramedic services have responded to. And last year, we've had 50 deaths in Waterloo Region related to drug overdoses and over 1,000. So this is fluid. I know that there's drug warnings frequently about, outbreaks of toxic drug supply in our community. So this proposed legislation, we hope, will provide more tools to police to combat illicit drugs across our community and across Ontario.
I got to say, and this is somewhat anecdotal, but recently, in just thinking about this on my own time, Mark, it did occur to me that as much of a problem as we have with drugs and the people who become addicted to them, there is an industry here that operates because of the profit involved. So the more work we can do to get to that source, I think, the better, obviously, for us all here.
Exactly right. And when you boil it all down, it's a commodity that has profit, and it's all about power and control. And often, you can describe it as turf warfare, or sometimes when it leads to violence and money owed and debts owed, and people competing for that profit margin. And so what we've seen over the number of years is, the cost of synthetic drugs and the availability has caused right across North America proliferation of availability. So unlike the past decades of the past, where we were importing natural drugs of the cocaine and other kinds, we're now in the era of synthetic drug supply, where pennies can create the most sought after commodity when it comes to recreational drugs. And so that's where it comes to that profit margin, and often it's leading to violent outcomes here and afar.
Inspector Scott Griffiths, turning over to your side of things here and the length of time you've spent in traffic services. I know there will be a conversation about right-hand turns on red lights at a regional committee today. Just, in an overall kind of way, in your experience in traffic services, Scott, what kinds of dangers are posed at intersections when you investigate collisions, et cetera, that happen there?
Well, whenever we have collisions involving pedestrians, vehicles, and other road users, we're always looking at how the interaction between them affected the outcome of those collisions, or what the cause of that was. So intersections are some of our highest volume. They create the most interactions between different road users, other vehicles, other types of users, pedestrians. So those are strategies, or those are ideas that will be discussed about how we are going to reduce or make more safe those interactions. And when we talk about pedestrian safety or cyclist safety, we're really looking at ways that we can reduce the chance that one of those types will be walking in the path of, or crossing over the path of, or interacting with a motor vehicle, a car, truck at those intersections. So it's definitely a very interesting conversation. And, as part of our investigations and part of our strategy to reduce deaths and reduce injuries from collisions, looking at road design and road management is always an important part of that conversation.
And I know in an overall way, Scott, we still look at those targeted we try to target those, behaviors of speeding, impaired driving, aggressive driving, et cetera.
Yeah, and like every one of those that we are just talking about affects the ability of the user to react or to deal with changes or interactions. So when we're talking about intersections, when you incorporate speed or distraction or other factors, you're looking at ways that people are being drawn away from focusing at the job at hand, and that really is prohibiting right turns or doing other things such as roundabouts. Help to contribute to increasing the opportunities for a safe traverse of those crossovers.
Inspector Scott Griffiths and Regional Police Chief Mark Crowell with us on the show this morning. It's the first Tuesday of the month, and we spend an hour with our police leaders where you too can have questions answered by the police leaders on the show with us. Our phone lines are open to you as we continue Ask the Chief here on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is the first Tuesday of this month of June, June the 2nd. It creeps up on you quick, doesn't it? And on the first Tuesday of every month from 11 until noon, we are joined by our policing leaders so you can have your policing questions answered directly by them. It's a segment we call Ask the Chief, and we are joined by Regional Police Chief Mark Crowell for these monthly conversations, along with Inspector Scott Griffiths. Something else that came across my desk, Chief, is use of force incidents. When reported at the last Police Services Board meeting, we saw that the use of force incidents were up in the first quarter of this year compared to last. So what might be behind that increase? And when we talk about use of force by regional police, what sorts of incidents are we talking about?
Sure. Thanks, Mike. So we report quarterly on our use of force data. It's a provincial mandate for us to collect this data, to report it to the ministry, and also our obligation is to make sure we're transparent, accountable. So from a high level, we make about 15,000 arrests per year. And during the course of our encounters, de-escalating is our number one focus. So we have reportable incidents for a number of things. It could be the drawing of or pointing or the discharging of a firearm, which is very infrequent by police. Typically, our highest category of reporting pertains to the display and the drawing and the pointing of a conducted energy weapon, commonly known as a taser. And then we have some other equipment, commonly known as pepper spray or use of baton, which is seldomly used in this day and age. So anytime anyone is injured or we display any of these equipments, that's where the reporting comes in. And so what we do every quarter to the board and publicly is every encounter that we have, and the vast majority of our citizen generated calls of service for something alarming in our community, police are responding, and then we're carrying out our actions. That's the highest level of what use of force reporting is. We also supplement it with race and identity-based data collection strategy. So we're doing some leading work, really trying to show the public what are the encounters, who's involved, what is the behavior that police are seeing, and then how are we responding. And the vast majority of them are de-escalations, done very well. And just the final kind of point before I actually answer your question is, we're talking about, less than 1% of all police encounters involve any use of force. So most people have a Hollywood depiction of, us being very active and always involved. We're talking about a 0.03% where use of force is engaged. So quarter to quarter, the difference for us is there was a higher level of arrests between the last quarter of 2025 and the first quarter of 2026. And every time that we are also involved in the execution of a warrant. So sometimes our teams are actively involved in our emergency response team, or some of our smaller investigative teams are conducting warrant executions. And when we see the display, or we know the threat of a weapon such as a firearm or a knife or some other weapon of opportunity is there, that's where we start to generate higher numbers quarter to quarter. But it's incredible. When I looked at the data, last month, we're almost entirely consistent year over year and quarter to quarter, with some variation in between. So we're accountable, and if anyone's curious about anything, we encourage them to reach out or to watch the regular quarterly reports to the board.
You mentioned being on the leading edge of that data gathering. And I know, Mark, since your introduction as our police chief, that this level of reporting to the community, transparency, has always been really a hallmark of what you're interested in doing as a police leader. Why is that important to you?
Well, I sort of mentioned there's the perceptions and of what policing is, and then there's the realities. And so we have seen great strides, and I can't take credit for it. This is a legacy issue that we've had for many years, and it's a team approach to putting everything we can in the eyes of the public. So I don't think people spend a lot of time watching our board meetings and maybe reading our reports, but it's all there. And we want people to know that this is our actions, and our engagements with the community are completely transparent, and we're accountable for every conversation that we have, every arrest that we make, and every display of force that occurs. And I think putting that out there consistently starts to answer questions for those that are curious. And it really shows the realities of what our officers are facing every day. There are dangers. There are the display of weapons. There are those unknown encounters where officers are seeking to enforce the law and to execute their duties, and they're facing considerable risks and dangers. So when you start to drill into the data, it tells the story of our officers are often responding to the display of violence or weapons in the course of their duties. They're responding typically with a conducted energy weapon just by displaying or pointing. And that in itself is de-escalating the vast majority of our engagements. And then we're reporting on that commonly. So it's important for us that people understand our work, and they understand the legislated commitments behind our training and the consistency that our officers and those right across the province are undertaking every day, seeking to provide peace and calm and order in everything that we do.
Scott, I know I've taken you down this path on several occasions in the past, but having just returned from Kelowna, British Columbia, I think I was in the e-scooter capital of Canada. I mean, the number of, I could go on, just not just the scooters, but the bikes and all the other things that I saw. And it was wonderful to see. I mean, there's a lot of great ways of getting around, but it makes me wonder how much information may be shared, or how much regional police may rely on or look at what's going on in other jurisdictions when it comes to somehow managing what certainly in Kelowna looked like an explosion of these types of vehicles.
Yeah, we certainly are always interested in the experiences that other police services are having with managing some of these incidents or managing some of these devices. We work in conjunction with the region and the cities in regards to their policies and bylaws regarding the use of these types of devices, and as well as complying with the Highway Traffic Act. We're always looking for best practices, and we're always looking for a way to to both encourage and manage safe use of those devices. And those are always interesting to see what other services are taking into account and what priority they're putting on them, and how much of an impact they're having through either their enforcement or their education. Because really, these can be very productive, very helpful tools for a lot of people who don't have access to a motor vehicle or don't have the ability or going off the grid when it comes to public transit. So we always want to make sure that we're supporting the use as the region and cities deem fit, but also putting a real focus on education enforcement for the safety aspect of it.
Yeah, I really like that point about encouraging, Scott, because it really was. I'll tell you again, it was great to see. It truly was. We just want to make sure that when these devices are being operated, they are being operated in a safe and responsible manner.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I remember, being on part of committees where they were talking about how, we have workers who work 24 hours a day, and we have people who work in areas that aren't served by public transit easily. And, the ability for these members to utilize these devices or to be able to use them to get where they need to go safely or efficiently is important. But we also have to deal with the fact that we have, an element that either does it carelessly or has, the intent just to use it for horseplay, or, are intentionally unaware or not using it in accordance with the bylaws and the rules under the Highway Traffic Act. So we need to nudge them in that direction. And when we do have a lot of violation, we need to address that and encourage those people who are not using them properly to kind of get on with the plan.
Inspector Scott Griffiths is with us from Waterloo Regional Police, as is Chief Mark Crowell. It is a chance for you to have your policing questions answered here on the show. Matt, we'll get to your call right after this update from the 570 News Center. And there's a line for you, too, because you have direct access to our police leaders here on the Mike Farwell Show this morning. 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is the first Tuesday of the month of June, this June the 2nd, and on the first Tuesday of every month between 11 and noon, we are joined by police leaders allowing you direct access to have your questions answered. Those leaders, Regional Police Chief Mark Crowell and Inspector Scott Griffiths. You know how to reach us and then, by extension, them here on the show. 519-570-2545. Star 570 and 1-800-570-5715. Matt has been waiting to ask his question, so we'll start there. Matt, good morning.
Morning. How are you doing?
Good, and you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
Hey, Mark, Mike, Scott, thanks for taking my call. So I'll try to be brief, but I'm a delivery driver, and I'm afraid that I might be doing these road things wrong. So I was hoping you guys could bring some clarity. So I've identified 3 different roads where they have this. So I'm confused sometimes the difference in entering a roundabout and entering a spot with like a median that separates the 2 lanes. So what I mean by that, if you think of like out toward Vista Hills School, where Columbia, I don't know if it's Boulevard or Street, Columbia and Sundew, there's kind of a spot where there's quite a few spots where there's roads that intersect, and there's like little miniature roundabouts. And then that's kind of similar like on Woolwich Street, which is like if you're heading out toward Kiwanis, the big swimming pool, and then Lake Louise Boulevard, like up in Waterloo, off of Westmount. So hopefully one of those rings a bell to you guys. But I'm just thinking, like, when I'm heading into those, they kind of look like a roundabout in a lot of those spots, and they kind of look like just a median. And I'm not sure when I'm heading into those if I'm supposed to be slowing down, like if I'm meeting another vehicle, if I should be yielding to them if they beat me to that intersection or that little roundabout, or if it's just like a median where I can just proceed with the same speed I'm entering. I hope that makes sense. Is that kind of legible, or am I being confusing?
Hey, good morning, Matt. I'll try to field that one from you. I would say I'm trying to recollect some of those intersections, and I do sound somewhat familiar to me. What I would say to you is whenever you're intersecting with other roadways, you always have to, treat it as essentially an intersection that requires caution and requires some kind of reduction or kind of proceed with caution type of attitude. So if you're coming up, I would make sure I would look for the signage as you're approaching those. And if not, you would probably see a yield sign or probably see some form of roundabout sign. You're going to want to slow your speed. You're going to want to proceed with caution, and you're going to want to yield to vehicles that are already within that intersection or already within that mini roundabout, if that makes sense.
I think you're onto something there, Scott. Because I'm trying to recall if there are actual yield signs at those kind of mini roundabouts as Matt describes them, which I think is a good description. There must be, though, because or if not, it is, although smaller than what we would see here on Ira Needles, it is a roundabout of sorts within a residential neighborhood. So I think the approach there would be the same as in any other roundabout, which I guess just speaks overall to the difficulty which we may have still here in North America and the region of Waterloo adjusting to the use of these roundabouts.
Yeah, and I think the ones he's talking about are ones that sort of have raised curbs around the inside part with usually some signage, some bollards or something kind of in the inside. It's not kind of structurally built up like our big roundabouts with earthen mounds and stuff in the centers and clear entry and exit lanes. It's more of just an intersection that's controlled by this kind of mini roundabout. And it's part of, we talked about earlier about the right turns on reds. It's part of road design that is trying to manage the flow and trying to increase opportunities for safe passage. So, I'm sure that there's statistics in the road design area that show that stop sign controlled intersections have a certain level of collisions, and that if we are able to put these in, that it'll help to reduce the opportunity for those. But in all of those cases, I think you really need to focus on the fact that you are intersecting with somebody. You do need to continue. You do need to travel safely through those intersections. And if there is no signage, to use your common sense and to say, listen, if there's a vehicle approaching closer to me, I should be yielding or I should be slowing my speed so that if there is something approaching that doesn't see me, I can react to that safely.
And to your initial point, Scott, about approaching any kind of intersection, obviously common sense would dictate if there's cross traffic, we approach that intersection with care. And I'll just reflect back on, I feel like I'm trying to flex here with another reference to Kelowna after I saw all those electric vehicles or scooters and whatnot. But another thing that I noticed, and I don't even know what the response would be because I wasn't driving. I was in the shuttle that took us back and forth from the arena. But at certain times of day, either early morning or late in the evening, there would be flashing green or flashing red lights, intersection lights, traffic signals. But I suppose that just means at certain hours, they become more of a yield suggestion as you're approaching those intersections with the flashing light.
Yeah, correct. So what they would do is typically in high volume periods, that would be a signalized intersection. So you'd have your red, yellow, green lights going through those intersections, controlling that interaction. But at night, if there's a main thoroughfare and a feeder road, they're going to maybe perhaps put the flashing green on for the main artery so that it's saying it's clear to go, but you should probably be aware of something coming, something being here. And then on the intersecting roads, they'll have flashing red or flashing amber to sort of indicate that this is, while you don't have to wait here for the change of signal light, you do have to stop and be careful and cautious as you proceed. So it's a way of sort of like speeding up. You don't have to sit through an entire cycle of lights in the middle of the night by yourself waiting for something to happen if you're on one of these little feeder roads, as long as it's clear to go. But they're trying to do things that increase that flow to kind of keep things moving, but also do it so that they have safety in mind.
Matt, I hope that helps you out as you're making your deliveries, and please continue to be safe while you do so. If you've got a question like Matt did, or another question that our police executives can answer. 519-570-2545, star 570, or 1-800-570-5715. Mark, something you said earlier kind of resonated with me when we were talking about use of force incidents and the reporting that regional police does. And, you know, in so many ways, you're combating what traditional media has portrayed policing to be like, right? This Hollywood style of police always chasing bad guys around and, you know, discharging firearms here and there. But something very Hollywoodized, at least to my ears and eyes, happened in Waterloo in the past number of weeks. And that was a robbery, an attempted robbery of an armored vehicle at a financial institution. I mean, this stands out to me as rare, but is this something that causes any increased concern on the part of regional police, something so brazen in daylight?
Yeah, you're right about everything. So just to give context to the listeners if they didn't hear about it. So on May 13th, and it was about 2:30 in the morning, that there was a call about shots fired, and it was in Fisher Hallman and Herb Street. And guards were essentially servicing a financial institution. There's, commonly an exchange of money, could be servicing an ATM or picking up or dropping off, money around the clock. And so this was a targeted incident. Multiple suspects engaged with 2 security guards, and gunshot wounds were suffered by one of the employees. So a 40-year-old male had multiple gunshots, injuries, and serious injuries led him to be treated in a hospital. And the second security guard was also involved but not harmed. So this is brazen. It is targeted. It is of significant concern. And I asked our leadership team to put their memories back, and we don't recall something like this in recent memory. I can't say it hasn't happened, in the past, say, decade, but it is unusual for this to occur, and it is of concern. So we continue to investigate. We have a dedicated break-and-enter, auto theft, and robbery team that is leading this investigation with multiple other units as well. And this is something that we'll be tracking not only for Waterloo Region, but also across Ontario as well. This is organized crime. It would have been something that had been planned, and it was a specific opportunity to try to conduct an armed robbery. And we don't use this language very often because it doesn't occur very often where a bank or guards are encountered in this way, especially with the discharge of a firearm. So this is a top concern for us, as I mentioned with the other gun violence issue, and we are very hopeful that we'll come to a successful conclusion to this investigation. So we look forward to providing an update as soon as we can.
Waterloo Regional Police Chief Mark Crowell, Inspector Scott Griffiths with us on the show this morning. They are here until noon answering your questions on Ask the Chief here on the Mike Farwell Show. We continue on 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is the first Tuesday of this month of June, the second of the month. And on the first Tuesday of every month, we are joined by our police leaders, Regional Police Chief Mark Crowell and Inspector Scott Griffiths with us answering your policing questions. One that occurred to me, Mark, was around intimate partner violence. And I know police take this issue very seriously and have, in fact, participated in an early intervention program for intimate partner violence. And it was reported that there's been a return on investment on this program. I wonder how we measure that and what a return on investment for an early intervention program for intimate partner violence works.
Thanks, Mike. And it's something we're very proud of. In this region, we are basically the first community in Canada to have a community hub model of wraparound supports for victims of intimate partner violence. So we respond to over 6,000 intimate partner violence calls per year. And we know that through academic research, globally, that's an underreported number of what is occurring in our community. But when somebody does come in contact with us for a report of intimate partner violence, there is an opportunity for us to offer support. Violence starts somewhere, and oftentimes it can be attributed to any kind of relationship stress, financial stress, learned behavior, violence, trauma in relationships. So when we find people who are willing to engage in essentially seeking help to deal with some of the challenges that they have, then we're seeing those who are committed to some programming. It could be those who have committed offenses against a partner, or those who are on the cusp of involving in offending behavior. But when they become involved in the early intervention programming, which has a couple different streams to it, what we're seeing is this return on investment, where we're seeing a stark reductions of calls for police. People are engaging in programming that can help them to solve some of the problems in their life that is leading to arguments and conflict and potentially the threat of violence. And the return on investment that we've seen statistically is a significant reduction of contact with police and over the course of months and ultimately the year. So we put a calculation to it, basically for 2025, a reduction of almost $600,000 on the programming leading to reduced calls to police, people getting more help that they need. And we're doing some great work in this community. I have to give a shout out to Women's Crisis Services of Waterloo Region, of one of the several partners that we engage with. They have something called an Engaging Men program that provides opportunities to look at the different forms of stress in their life and helping to hopefully break those patterns that lead to calls to police and ultimately people being at risk in their own homes and relationships.
Just for context here, Mark, this sounds to me, as you explain this, like the very definition of upstream. And we've talked about that in a variety of ways over our conversations every month on this show. But that's what we're talking about, this intimate partner violence program and other initiatives that police undertake as part of upstream prevention or upstream work in the community.
That's exactly right. And as a community, through partnership, we're trying to move out of response mode into prevention mode. And that takes investments. And so working with partners, last year we had about 440 repeat intimate partner violence victims that were engaged, in the program. The relationships were engaged. And we had a 51% reduction in police, no further police contact. And 81% of people engaged in the program had fewer police contacts over the duration of our analysis. So that's exactly right. The more we can invest in getting people the help that they need in their lives, and it's hoping to break some of those cycles. And everything we're doing is done in partnership. So our community should be very proud. We have taken those steps forward to say the police have a role, but all those services and programs and partner agencies that support victims and survivors of intimate partner violence, sexual violence of many forms, we're committed to try and find those best practices from around the world that can get people help that they need to reduce, calls and the risk in our community.
You mentioned at the outset today, Mark, and you and Scott are both joining us virtually via Zoom because the two of you are at the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police conference. What sorts of benefits are derived from participation in a gathering like this?
It's the benefits of learning, sharing, and partnering. So we have police leaders from across the province and beyond. So when you look at the province, we're blessed to have the Ontario Provincial Police that provide that band of service to communities small and large and to our highway systems and investigative capacity. We have the RCMP in this province, but then we have 44 municipal police services and about 9 Indigenous police services. So the spectrum of difference is stark because we're serving communities, small, medium, large, rural communities, Indigenous communities. But we're brought together through, common service and trying to find the best ways to serve our community and reduce violence and to create those better outcomes. So we are bound together through this organization of chiefs of police, but it's really all of our organizations sharing, learning, and contributing to advancing the profession. And the byproduct is better outcomes for the communities that we serve. So it's always great when colleagues and professionals come together. We are, brought a number of leadership experts or subject matter experts on a whole variety of topics. And also running concurrent with this conference is it's called Canadian or Ontario Police Governance, and that's the Association of Police Service Boards that govern police services across the province too. The more we come together, the more we share and learn together, we're finding those better solutions for all of those pressures that we're facing in the policing sphere, but also beyond. So it's a great place to be.
I'd be curious, Mark, if any of your colleagues that you interact with at a conference like this are envious of the opportunity to speak directly to your community like you do monthly on the show, or they cringe at the idea of taking questions live on the air?
It's a bit of both. And, I know Scott and I are very proud to have this opportunity to engage on a consistent basis, as you said. And an open phone forum is a bit daunting for some, but Scott's here to answer the really hard technical traffic questions. But this is essential for us. And we're proud that you provide the forum, right open to Waterloo Region and beyond every month. So some of my colleagues, what I've learned over time is people don't like public speaking. They're sometimes afraid of that engagement, of making a mistake, of saying the wrong thing. But it's very important that we're accessible and that we answer every question possible. So if you have a question for us, it can be through this forum or you just reach out directly. We're going to get you the answer that you need and deserve. And we'll just keep coming back.
Really appreciate you both making time, even while you're at this conference, so we can keep the consistent schedule here on the show. And we'll look forward to the first full week of July when we would do this all over again.
Thanks, Mike. Enjoy the parade and the celebration tonight. We look forward to getting back to the region and feeling the pulse of the Rangers win. So congratulations to everyone.
Thanks, Mark. And Scott, thanks for being here again as well.
Absolutely. I wish I could be there to cheer them on.
Scott Griffiths, Inspector with Waterloo Regional Police. Mark Crowell, of course, our Chief. We will be cheering on the Rangers in downtown Kitchener later today, and Mark and Scott will be with us for another Ask the Chief on the first Tuesday of July, which will be if I've got it right, the first is a Wednesday, so at 7th of July, I think, is when we're coming up again. But we will get to our Talkback Hour and an update from the 570 News Center as we move along with the Mike Farwell Show this morning. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV.
Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety yak.
Don't talk back.
Just finish cleaning up your room. Let's see that dust fly with that broom. Get all that garbage outside, or you don't go out Friday night.
Don't talk back.
Well, I would love it if you did two things today. Okay, two. I don't ask you for much, but I'm asking you for this. Okay, I ask you for a lot. Give me your ears every day for starters, right? But here are the two things I would like to particularly ask of you today. One is, don't listen to that song. I want you to talk back. Do talk back, because this is the Talkback Hour, after all. Phone lines open directly to you at 519-570-2545, star 570, and 1-800-570-5715. If one line is busy, just try one of the other ones. That's a little pro tip, because the lines are already getting busy. So if you can't get through on star 570, try 519-570-2545, or even try 1-800-570-5715. You'll be surprised at how all of the numbers work. The other thing I would love for you to do today is get into downtown Kitchener on this beautiful day and enjoy the championship parade. These young men that worked so ding-dang hard all ding-dang season long, I think are worthy of a little bit of recognition today, even if you stay for 10 minutes, but I think you'll want to stay for longer. Let's just get out and put on a big old show for these fellas and the entire Kitchener Rangers organization that gave us such a pleasant distraction from all of the big news of the day over these last couple of months, right? What a playoff run, what a regular season, what a Memorial Cup. Let's celebrate later today in downtown Kitchener, okay? Right to the phones we go. We are going to start with Farwell's Force member number 22, Good afternoon, Craig.
Good afternoon, Mike. How are you doing?
I am great. Thank you, my friend. How are you?
I am perfect.
Good.
I would like to thank the Guelph Storm for getting the bid for the Memorial Cup next year, which made Mike McKenzie pivot and do the trades he did, and we got the result that we did.
You know what? The Guelph Storm can do all the work they want next year to host the Memorial Cup. We'll just celebrate winning it. I like where you're coming from, Craig.
Exactly. And hopefully I get to see you this afternoon. If not, we will see you soon.
No offense, but hopefully there are too many thousands of people for us to see one another, Craig. But I look forward to it either way, if it's this afternoon or soon after.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy. Take care.
You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye. There you go. Farwell's Force member number 22. And from one Farwell's Force member number to another, Nate, number 8. You're on Talkback.
Oh, my goodness, Mike. It's so exciting. I'm still sometimes shaking thinking about it, that these boys did this. UC Ahokas, wow, what a great coach he is, eh? The whole staff, the whole team, everything. Kitchener downtown is going to be hopping and popping tonight, I tell you that much. But speaking of that as well, Uncle Doug, he gets me really confused with these rules around booze. So if I bring a beer downtown to the parade tonight, am I going to get arrested for that?
I can't remember. Has it started yet? I don't know.
Or are they going to put us in a cage like feral animals and say, here's your beverage area?
I don't. Listen, I think you should be allowed to enjoy an adult beverage while you enjoy the parade today, but maybe that's just me.
Well, okay. So, yeah, I'll risk it maybe and see what happens there. Also, I realize that I'm going to be seeing you 3 times this week, my friend.
Okay, let me think now. You're definitely coming to Barry's Asparagus on Sunday for deep fried asparagus, right?
Oh, are you kidding me? I never miss it.
I know. That's one of our favorite Farwell for Hire staple events, so I'm glad I'm going to see you there. Am I going to see you at the launch party on Thursday?
Absolutely.
So we're going to block 3. You know, Face for Radio is going to be on tap by Thursday night, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. We're all going to have a good time.
I'm going to find a DD.
Okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, we're going to be at Block 3 Brewing in St. Jacobs on Thursday for the Farwell for Hire launch party. If you want a ticket, drop me an email, mike@570news.com. I'll hook you up with the link. You just have to pay $25. You get music, you get food, and we're going to have a good old time. And then, that's 2.
I'm really hoping that a lot of Farwell Force members show up for the launch party as well.
I hope so, too. And there's the 3rd time today at the parade. Is that the 3rd time?
You are correct.
Okay. I love it, buddy. Way to go. Thanks for the support.
Right on, Rangers.
All right. Appreciate you, Nate. Thank you very much. You know, speaking of adult beverages and the celebration today, okay, forgive me, okay? But I will make no apologies for enjoying beer. I like a beer. I have 2 favorite kinds of beer, free and cold. So if I can't get them for free, they're always cold in my beer fridge at home. I like the occasional beer. So sorry about that. And, you know, it is my habit after broadcasting a Kitchener Rangers game, regular season, postseason, you name it, to go home after the game and enjoy a beer. Just kick back, relax, crack a beer. It's usually late on a Friday night, okay? Do you know, so I do this, I've been doing it for years. Don Cameron and I used to do it together. Anyway, blah, blah. This is what I do. This is my habit. This is my tradition. And all these years, and all these post-game beers that I enjoy. And then the Rangers win the Ding Dang Memorial Cup. And do you think I could get my hands on a beer? The Canadian Hockey League, their only mission after that championship was won on Sunday was getting us the HE double hockey sticks out of Kelowna. They could not move us faster out of that arena, onto the bus, to the airport, and onto the plane. They wanted us gone. I did not get to have a beer until I was back in Kitchener on Monday morning. And you bet your bottom dollar I still drank one before I went to bed because I wanted to have a post-game celebration. It took how many hours to be able to have? Ridiculous. I don't think, by the way, today is one of those sanctioned Doug Ford beer drinking events in downtown Kitchener. So be careful. I'm not going to try to tell you to do something illegal. Although apparently you can walk down the street and smoke a joint. So, I mean, come on with your coming on. But anyway, sorry for that little tangent. You know how the show goes. It's a stream of consciousness after all. And it just made me think of how long I had to wait for a ding-dang beer after the Memorial Cup. Should have been right there in my broadcast booth, for crying out loud. Preston Paul, Farwell's Force, member number 45. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike. Way to make me laugh, buddy.
all a guy wants is a beer after the game, Paul.
Wow, I can't believe you didn't have a victory beer ready to go.
If I was a professional, I would have thought of that, I guess.
Yeah, next year when we go to the Memorial Cup and down the Highway 7 there, you'll be able to bring one with you. You'll know better.
I will know better, exactly. Give me another chance, Kitchener Rangers. Give me another chance.
Yeah, that was unbelievable on Sunday night, Mike. I'm telling you, I get goosebumps. I got them right now. I just listening to it out on the deck and the call, and it was just unbelievable. It was just great to see and hear. So, but I hope you had a good time out there. Beautiful country. Love to visit one of these days.
Well, when you get the chance, it would be recommended. Absolutely.
Yeah. You have yourself a great night tonight, Mike. Go Rangers. That was beauty.
Thanks, Paul. Great to hear from you. I still get that wave of emotion washing over me when I think about it, too. It was a wonderful moment, capping off a wonderful season for our Kitchener Rangers, and we will celebrate them in championship style later today, downtown Kitchener. Line the streets of downtown Kitchener on King from Queen right down to City Hall. And as the parade passes you by at King and Queen, you are welcome to jump onto the road, follow the procession down to City Hall, and then we're going to have some speeches and some music. And Moose Winooski's is donating 2,000 hot dogs. So I want the hot dogs to be gone. I'm not going to eat 2,000 hot dogs by myself, as much as I'd like to try. So help me eat the 2,000 hot dogs. And I don't mean 4 or 5 apiece. I mean, let's have more than 2,000 people in downtown Kitchener today. I want them to run out of hot dogs. Celebrate our Kitchener Rangers as we continue Talkback on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Every day from noon until 1, we open the phone lines directly to you so that you can have your say on the issues of the day. It's really that simple. It's your platform. Make use of it. We'll get right back to the phones. Avery, you are on Talkback. Good afternoon.
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
Great, my friend. How are you?
Excellent. I just want to say it was absolutely phenomenal watching the Rangers win the Memorial Cup out in Kelowna. It was a sort of last-minute trip here on the farm. I ended the playoffs on a 23-game in-person winning streak watching the Rangers.
Wow, that is impressive.
I knew I had to fly out there and watch them win it.
So wait, are you still in Kelowna?
So there's a piece of farm equipment, a planter Dad sent me out to see in Minnesota. So I sort of did a detour out to Kelowna, drove to Vancouver after the game, caught a 6 a.m. flight from Vancouver to Minneapolis, drove an hour and a half west of Minneapolis, and then flew home last night at 1 in the morning.
Get out of town.
So I don't know if I'll be able to make it to the parade tonight because I got to get caught back up here on the farm. And now that the superstition is over, I would like to be a Farwell's Force member.
Oh, my gosh. You will absolutely become, as I reach for my notepad to give you the official number. You know, you farmers never cease to impress me. Like, always. Working so ding-dang hard. That is impressive.
Yeah, the drive was a lot easier, the 4.5-hour drive after the Rangers won it, that's for sure.
It put a little wind in your sails, eh?
Oh, yeah. Reminiscing on all the moments watching that team this year. Absolutely incredible.
Okay, Avery. I have Farwell's Force official member number 383 next in line. You want to take it?
Yeah, 531 available.
Okay, hang on. 531. Let me check my list of randos. And yes, 531 is available. You want to be a rando, do you?
Yeah, I'll be that because that's the date the Rangers won the Cup.
Oh, Avery, well done. 5:31 is yours, my friend.
Awesome. Well, Mike, enjoy the parade and hope the Rangers can have more than 15 minutes, like UC said. They can celebrate a long time.
They should celebrate a long time. Appreciate it, Avery. Thanks for joining the force, and thanks for being such a passionate Rangers fan.
Yeah, you bet, Mike. Look forward to next year.
You betcha. Good to talk to you. That's incredible stuff. Avery sent me a message when he got to Kelowna. Look at that. Had to go to Minneapolis. So detoured through Kelowna. And, well, you heard the story. That's our farmers right there. They know a thing or two about work, just like the Kitchener Rangers do, by the way. This was a blue-collar, hard-working team. And Avery kind of embodies that, as do the rest of our farmers in this community. Mad respect, as the kids would say, for each and every one of you. I am so impressed. You inspire me with your work ethic and what you provide to us as communities from the fields where you grow it and work so hard on it. Thank you for that. Elias is next on Talkback. Good afternoon, Elias.
Good afternoon, Mike. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you, my friend. How are you?
Welcome back. Welcome back. We miss you, my friend.
I missed you, too. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. Force Farwell, 184.
Attaboy, number 184.
You got it.
Are you going to be at the parade today? Because I saw you at the rally before we left.
Sure.
Of course,
I will be there downtown Kitchener. I will see you there.
Good. I look forward to that.
Yeah, last week, you remember we were together at the Talkback Square?
That's right.
I talked to you, and you promised me that you're going to represent me in the games in Kelowna.
Well, and I went there, and I did the very best to present them to you.
Thank you. Anyway, I watched all the 4 games in Kelowna. They were 4-0, perfect.
They were. They were 20 wins and only 2 losses in the entire playoffs. It was incredible.
That is very incredible. That is the best team I have ever seen during my stay in Waterloo Region. That is the best team.
Yep. It was one of the best we've ever seen from the Kitchener Rangers, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, I told you bring back the trophy, and you did it. I'm going to see you tonight.
All right, Elias. I love it. Thank you. It's 2 weeks ago today, by the way. 2 weeks ago today that Elias and I met in real life at Carl's Air Square in downtown Kitchener at the rally to send the Rangers off to Kelowna. And when we have that parade today in downtown Kitchener, the team is going to come with the Memorial Cup. How about that? How about that? Let's get to downtown Kitchener later today and have a big old championship parade. Farwell's Force member number 189 there in Elias. Avery just joined Farwell's Force at number 531. 5th month, 31st day, Rangers win the Memorial Cup. If you would like to join our growing force, we are a force for good, a force for change, a force to be reckoned with. You're welcome to be a part of Farwell's Force. All you have to do is listen for 15 minutes a day. That's it. 15 minutes every day, mind you, but they can be any 15 minutes. We're on for 240 ding-dang minutes. Surely you can find 15 to listen to, right? Come on with your coming on. But if you listen for 15 minutes a day, you can join the force for good, the force for change, the force to be reckoned with. Just drop me an email, mike@570news.com. We'll assign you the next number in sequence, or you can pick a number, or just call and get your Farwell's Force number, because we are a growing force to be reckoned with in this community. Kyle is next on Talkback. Kyle, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Do you remember what I told you 3 years ago when you guys hired UC Hocus?
Before you go any further, I gotta deal with something here. Can we?
I don't know.
Can we have a serious conversation?
Is it in fine print?
Well, no, I don't think it's fine print at all. I think there are very clearly established rules. Well, actually, there's only one rule. So if you can't remember the one rule, I don't know if I can help you. But the only rule I have on this show is that there is a certain NHL hockey team that is not to be named. Like, never. They are called the team that shall not be named. You're aware of this rule, aren't you, Kyle?
I thought I was. I forgot because you were gone.
Okay, no, wait. So you do know the rule.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have heard reports, and I always I am a journalist of great integrity, Kyle. I want to double check before I, go follow through on my story here. But the reports I have received are that you, on more than one occasion, invoked the team that shall not be named on this program while I was away. Is that what happened?
Snitches get stitches. That's what I hear.
Pardon me?
Snitches get stitches.
Oh, snitches get stitches. But are you confirming then that the reports that I have received are true?
I was just correcting you guys on a couple of occasions.
Okay, a couple of occasions. So the reports are true that you used on this show the name of the team that shall not be named.
Maybe I did, yes.
Okay. Do you know
I
what?
gotta talk to my lawyer.
Okay.
I gotta talk to my lawyer before I even go any further.
That's fair. You have the right to legal counsel. But do you know what happens, Kyle, when you break the only rule on this show?
What happens?
That Kyle is now in the penalty box. And I'll tell you what. Last time, I was way too soft. Way too soft. And I forget the name of the gentleman who sent an email in Kyle's defense explaining that it was actually my fault for letting the name of the team that shall not be named get onto the airwaves. But you, sir, presented a very good case. I relented after 3 days, maybe 4. I'm not relenting that easily this time. Kyle is in the penalty box. For how long? Listen, I'm going to start working on that. I'm going to talk to my people. But he knew he was breaking the rules. He took advantage of the substitute teacher, and he used the name of the team that shall not be named with intent. It was deliberate, and so Kyle is in the penalty box. When will he be released? I'm going to think on that for a little while, but it ain't going to be anytime soon. Kyle, I hope you've enjoyed your time on our show. I hope you enjoyed using the name of the team that shall not be named on this show, because you're not going to get a chance to say anything on this show for who knows how long at this point. But I'm going to start thinking on it. Talkback continues on the Mike Farwell Show. This is 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. It is the kind of day that we've all got something to say, I guess. Busy phone lines on Talkback. We'll get right back to your calls. Old Bob is with us next. Good afternoon, Old Bob.
Hey, my young know-it-all nephew. A Mike with a Mike. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. I got my hands full here and I'm in a hurry. Mike, I need to know, are my numbers still taken to be the force... Farwell Force.
What number did you have, Old Bob?
Well, I wanted my number 4 for sports that I wear, but I'm sure that's taken, right?
Yeah, we're up to number 383 in sequence.
Okay.
So,
all right, I'll have to take my alternate number, which is 444 Jackrabbit. 444.
I love it, Bob, but I already got Christine at number 444.
No,
I know. She took one of the random numbers.
Well, how about my other random number where I'm twice as good as Bobby Orr, number 44?
Well, no, I said we're up to 383. We have 0 to 383 already taken, and then a bunch of random numbers after that. Bob, we're having a hard time here.
Okay, brother, we'll have to go with 400 if we got random numbers.
400's Kathy.
Holy mackerel.
I'm telling you, I know. Farwell's Force is a thing, Bob.
It started. I remember when there was only 69 of us.
We have grown, Bob. We have grown.
All right. I'll have to ask my wife on this and get her numbers. Okay. Thanks, brother.
Anytime, my friend. Great to hear from you. Please check with the missus, and she'll steer you in the right direction for the proper Farwell's Force number. We are a growing force for good. We really are. Marv is next. Good afternoon, Marv.
Good afternoon, Mike. How are we doing?
We're doing real well, sir. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good.
You guys did a fantastic job on the radio.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate hearing that.
Okay. I've worked the 3 Memorial Cups, one in Guelph, one in Kitchener, and one in Mississauga.
So 02, 08, and 2011.
That's right.
Attaboy.
And the best one was Kitchener. They put on a real good show. And you guys, you and Mr. Cameron did a hell of a job broadcasting all those games. So what I'd like to say is that I'm glad to be a Kitchener Ranger fan. I live in Guelph, but I get a lot of grief over here. So
I wonder why.
But it's all friendly stuff, right? So,
Yeah,
which
good.
Is great.
Good.
So, but that's all I wanted to say, and then I can't wait till September to see those 2 banners come down.
Oh, you know what? I hadn't even thought of that yet, Marv. That's right. We're going to get the chance to have a banner raising ceremony. Yeah, the OHL Championship and
That's right.
the Memorial Cup.
That's right. I also want to say that this region has 3 championships, right? You got the OHL, you got the Junior B, and you got the Junior C, all in this region. So hockey's good in this section of the section of Ontario.
Who picked up the Junior C? Tavistock lost it, didn't they?
They've lost to Fergus.
To Fergus, that's right. So Fergus got the Schmaltz Cup.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it was, the Cambridge Redhawks had the Sutherland Cup. That's the Junior B.
Yeah.
And then the Kitchener Rangers, the J. Ross Robertson, and the Memorial Cup.
That's right.
Great stuff, Marv. Good job.
All right, Mike. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a great day, and glad to have you back.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back. Very nice of you to say. And, as I think on it, I think we have a third one to hang, too, banner, don't we? We won the Midwest Division this year. We won the OHL Championship this year. We won the Memorial Cup this year. Ooh, those rafters at the odd. It's going to get a little more crowded up there, and I love it. I love it. Mark is next on Talkback. Good afternoon, Mark.
Hi, Mike. What a run, buddy?
What a run, buddy?
That was
so good.
Totally amazing.
So good.
I watched every minute of it.
Attaboy.
And I loved it. I love my Rangers. And one other thing, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Keep Kyle in that penalty box because he broke the rules while you were away. And he did that because you were gone.
Exactly.
And,
he did it
Larry
on purpose.
Let it go.
That's right.
But yeah, keep him in the penalty box, man.
You know what, Mark? I will. Thank you.
Okay, Mike.
All right, Mark. See you, buddy. Listen, Kyle did this before on the show when I was here, and I put him in the penalty box, and I was going to leave him in there for 5 weeks, and then I because I'm old and soft, I'm like butter over here, I let him out, and clearly Kyle did not learn his lesson because while I was away, he called in, and on multiple occasions, Kyle invoked the name of the team that shall not be named on this show. And that's it. Like, I'm going to be so much stricter this time because, again, clearly Kyle did not learn his lesson the first time. So you will not be hearing from Kyle for a good long time on this show. Sorry for your luck. Noah is next on Talkback. Good afternoon, Noah.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great, thank you. How's it going with you?
Pretty good. Looking forward to the parade today, but I just wanted to come on and share kind of a personal Ranger story for the season before we all got happy and celebrated. I lost my grandfather back in October of this year, or I guess last year, 2025. He was a huge Rangers fan ever since probably like I was born in the mid 90s. And any chance we got to go to a game together, we always went. So before he passed away, one of the last things he said to me before he passed was that this team was something special. That was long before they made any trades for Dylan Edwards, Gabe Sherratt, or the 2 boys from London. So I'm just glad that they were able to go all the way and win the Memorial Cup this year. My family and I actually went to the watch party at the Odd and sat in the very seats that he used to sit in all the time. So it was kind of nice to pay tribute to him before they did it.
I love that. Way to go.
So it was just it was nice too. I was able to share his story with the team earlier this season, and I won Matthew Andonovsky's game used red jersey during the Fan Appreciation Week as well.
That's amazing. That's a keeper too. Did Andonovsky ever have a playoff and a Memorial Cup that I think was overlooked by some of the highlight reel goals and saves and stuff. But Andonovski was a force at the tournament for sure.
Absolutely. I know Landon DuPont definitely won't be missing him in the league.
Oh, did Ando get DuPont with a good clean hit, eh?
Absolutely.
You betcha. You betcha.
So looking forward to seeing you at the parade today. And as always, go Rangers, go.
All right. Make sure you say hi. Thanks for sharing the story, Noah. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. Okay.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Boy, is that ever great. And, you know, how many of us can relate? I saw a good friend of mine, Tyson, share on social media after the OHL championship, I believe, memories of his grandfather and going to the games. We had another story that we shared as not everyone as a jackwagon story about going back to the games after being away for a while because it wasn't the same going to games without their loved one. I mean, I went to games with my father when I was a kid, and bless his sturdy heart, he's still hanging around at the age of 80 now. But those memories, they stay with you, and it becomes a part of the fabric of who we are and our connection to this team. And Noah able to go to that watch party for the Memorial Cup final on Sunday and sit in the seats that his grandfather did. So that's pretty cool. I'm really glad to hear that. It makes me think. Somebody, and I feel awful for forgetting who, but so many messages on my phone after the game on Sunday when I finally was done with the work and whatnot, and I looked at my phone. It was overwhelming. But somebody sent me a picture that I am going to cherish forever. It was a picture of the late, great Don Cameron, my good friend and mentor in this business, who, of course, is the voice and will only ever be the one and only voice of the Kitchener Rangers. I just am trying not to fumble the torch that he passed over. But it was a picture of Don, his best friend, Big Mac, Don McDonald, who was a mainstay around the rink and even did some broadcasting with Don, and Fran Campbell, who used to write for the Waterloo Region Record and cover the Kitchener Rangers on the sports beat. The three of them, an old black and white photo. I feel awful for forgetting who sent it to me, but I'm so glad to have it. And I'm going to hang on to it forever because it was said then that those three gentlemen, Don Cameron, Big Mac, and Fran Campbell, were smiling down and probably raising a glass to those Kitchener Rangers on Sunday when they won that Memorial Cup. That's what the team means in this community for sure. Jason is next on Talkback. Good afternoon, Jason.
Good afternoon, Mike. Welcome back there. We missed you, buddy.
Oh, thanks. It's nice to be missed. I'm glad to be back.
Listen, at the end of the day, we had a supply teacher or a supply host kind of fill in here, and I got to be the voice of reasoning here, Mike.
Okay.
Larry let that team that shall not be named out several times like a wet duck with loose lips there for a little while. So I think Kyle kind of jumped on the bandwagon of Canadian pride and decided to follow suit. So it may not necessarily be all of Kyle's fault. It may very well have been Mr. Larry that encouraged the Canadian pride to kind of come out of both of us who had many hopes that our one and only final Canadian team left in the playoffs this year might actually see a cup finals. And, of course, that didn't happen. But, so I think we may have to kind of rethink this situation here because the supply teacher might have done you wrong on this one, Mike.
Well, how about this, Jason? Just because I'm a jerk this way, why don't we just extend the punishment to both of them then?
That's fantastic, Mike. I think that's a fair idea.
All right, Jason, appreciate you. Thanks for the call.
All right, have a great one, Mike.
You too. Great talking to you today. Listen, I need to have a conversation with Larry Fedoruk, who I appreciate being here, but you can't do this. This show provides an open forum daily for our thoughts, our opinions, our good-natured back and forth, but you cannot, under any circumstances, utter the name of the team that shall not be named. Kyle did it. He knew he did it. It was deliberate. He was punished before, clearly not punished enough. Kyle's punishment has begun anew. For how long? I'm still working on that part. And I think, thanks to Jason, we might just extend this punishment to Larry. Next time I'm gone, you're getting a replay. Take that. Sorry, Fedoruk. You're out. At least for now. Talkback continues, though. You're still in on the Mike Farwell Show, 570 News Radio and Rogers TV. Thanks to Derek for the email to Mike at 570news.com under the subject line Kyle. Derek writes, I was planning on sending you an email last week to see if you were going to reconsider my second suggestion for Kyle's punishment after how naughty he was while you were gone, but I never got around to it, even though it's kind of your own fault for taking the time off. Derek, come on with your coming on. I had to go to Kelowna to cover the Memorial Cup. Anyway, I don't quite remember Derek's second suggestion for Kyle's punishment, but it's going to be severe because clearly he didn't learn his lesson the first time. And Jonathan, who also sends an email to Mike at 570news.com, seems to agree. Jonathan writes, Kyle got his warning. He failed to handle it properly, so he deserves to be punished more severely this time. You could even take into account each of his offenses in your absence to increase the severity of the punishment for the repeat offenses. I like where you're coming from, Jonathan. I really do. Let's get back to the phones here on Talkback. Paul is with us, Farwell's Force, member number 331. Hello, Paul.
How you doing, Mikey?
Good, thank you. How are you?
You and Josh did a fantastic job on your broadcast, let me tell you.
I love to hear that. Thank you so much.
It was awesome. And then to get Pete Everett once and to get him twice. And who scored our first goal? Number 19.
Luke Ellenis, how about it? A playoff Ellie came to play.
That's right. Is there any way you could find out how much food donations and money was raised on the watch party at the Odd?
I suspect the city will share that in due course, but I will see if I can find a number tonight while I'm there. But I'm sure we'll get a number.
Okay, I'll see you at the party. Go Rangers.
Thanks, Paul. I look forward to it. Go Rangers indeed. Be with us in downtown Kitchener later today. Let's do this up right. This team worked so hard, top to bottom, all year long for about 9 months for us. You see them work hard on the ice, picking up so many wins. Win after win after win. 47 in the regular season, 20 in the playoffs. Are you kidding me? Yeah. What a run for the Kitchener Rangers. Then there's all the work they did off the ice just to be ready on the ice to win all those games. It was remarkable stuff, and we can celebrate the whole kit and caboodle this afternoon in downtown Kitchener. So join us, line the streets from King and Queen right down to City Hall and Carl's Air Square. And when the Rangers parade comes past you, you can hop onto the road and follow that parade right down to City Hall. We'll have a big old mass of people. Moose Winooski's is donating 2,000 hot dogs. It's going to be great. We'll have some speeches, we'll have some music, and we will cheer and cheer loud and proud for our Memorial Cup champion, Kitchener Rangers. Look forward to seeing you there. Grant is with us on Talkback. Good afternoon, Grant.
Way to go, Kyle. Come out as often as you want. And Larry Fedori, yeah, you too, buddy.
No, they don't get to come out of the penalty box till I say, Grant. Sorry.
Come on, Kyle.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Stop breaking the rules. I tell you, you mess with the bull, Grant. You get the horn. You're getting the horns today, buddy. Okay.
You're funny.
I know.
You're going to miss the across the hall or over the top.
Off the top, across the hall, all part of our Harris Law pregame show. Yeah, I know. You're going to miss that stuff, eh?
Yeah, I always like to hear you say and the other coaches and your partner's playbook.
Yeah. Piercy's playbook. Well, you know it's going to come back next season, right?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I had Kitchener winning 7-3 in the Memorial Cup. But yeah, it kind of makes me laugh when they interviewed O'Reilly, because he made it seem like that he was with the team from September on, because when he said the team really gelled together from the start, but he wasn't with the team at the very beginning, so I got a kick out of that.
Well, the reason he would say that, Grant, is because when you bring new players to the team, like the Rangers did with Sam O'Reilly and Jared Woolley, it starts to gel from the start of that, which is what he would have been referring to at the time. Rangers general manager Mike McKenzie put together one heck of a hockey club, and again, we get to celebrate them in downtown Kitchener later today. One more thing I want to remind you of as we wind things down for another day here on the show. It will be my month-long obsession, and that is watching the Farwell for Hire 50-50 raffle grow, the jackpot of it grow in size, because with Farwell for Hire underway, we launched it yesterday, even though I was still en route back from Kelowna, but we're underway full throttle as of this moment. The entire month of June will be Farwell for Hire month, so I'll be out participating in all kinds of events. We've got some great businesses lined up that are supporting us, and I'll share all of those details with you as time goes on. But one of the most important things right now is that 50-50 raffle. There is already a jackpot of almost $32,000, which means a take-home prize for you of almost $16,000. And you can get a ticket at cf5050.ca. And if you get that ticket before this Friday, then you are eligible for our first early bird prize, which is $2,500 in cash from TLC Pet Food. How can you beat that? You could win the $2,500 in cash from TLC Pet Food, and you're still eligible for the overall jackpot, which again, your take-home prize is almost $16,000. It's just going to keep growing. Thank you to TLC Pet Food for being our key partners in this again this year. And thanks to you for getting a Farwell for Hire 50-50 raffle ticket at cf5050.ca. Let's raise some money for cystic fibrosis research. I will see you in downtown Kitchener later today. I know I will. And then we'll come back and talk about it tomorrow morning on the show, okay? My name is Mike Farwell. You are a force for good. Bye for now.